Get to know all your favorite VRChat DJs all in one place. This is VRCDJLIVE.
Welcome back to another wonderful edition of VRCDJLIVE. And of course, it is Thursday as we carry on. And funny enough, I feel like the last time that we got back on this program, we literally were sitting in September. But I don't know if it's just me, and I'm sure we'll ask our guests this time around to see what they think. But like October, I feel like it's almost over. And I don't want to call it almost over October. But at the same time, we want to make sure that we, talk about the holiday, talk about everything that we got coming up, and this is the program to do it. So welcome on in to VRC DJ Live. I'm Rob Roman, your host. Excuse me, a little late for me. But and if you're new to the program, welcome on in. It is a live program, so if you'd love to ask all of your questions to our guests, feel free to drop them off in chat. And we talk to everybody on our program here, from DJs to club owners to security to the community to VJs, dancers. If you want to hear from them, basically, we love to have them here on the program. And of course, if you know someone that would love to be a guest on our program as well, we have all of the forms and information for you down in the bio on Twitch, as well as on the replay on YouTube. And what an amazing group of people we got here for our show tonight. They are a PCVR plus Quest, a bunch of misfits on a mission to connect adult standalone users to the rest of the VRChat rave clubbing community, providing various genre-centric experiences with all the different events they've got cooking on. And, despite throwing together plenty of events throughout the week, even more exciting things to talk about as we lead into the new year. And listen, I can't say enough about them. Please welcome to the VRC DJ Live studios, WYLDA, GiggleLord, and Cruzbot of QCC. Guys, welcome on in. We're really happy to have you here today.
Hello.
Hello. We are so
Welcome
glad
in
you're
us.
here.
Let's go.
I was gonna say, you guys are like really super stoked to be here on the program, and I know at the earlier part of this week we were talking about all sorts of different things that you had been kind of cooking up recently. So why don't you just kind of break things down? Tell us a little bit about what's been kind of going on in 2025 for you.
I guess I'll start. Gosh, we've had so many things happen. Our group's been around for a few years now. But I guess within this last year, we've had some staff join, some staff leave. We've really shifted our focus to like focus in on specific events. We've had our main world get developed. We've had more partnerships, done tons and tons of collaborations, like you name it.
Now, I know earlier on, I probably should have asked this question way earlier in advance, but when was QCC actually established in VRChat?
What would that be? Late 2022, we started doing things, but then we were established as a group in 2023.
So talking a little bit about how you guys have a venue, a new home and stuff like that. Tell us about that process too, because I know during almost the entirety of this program today, we're going to be feeding a lot into Quest users, understanding the transition between what people know of the raving scene in here that you would need with a Power PC compared to a Quest. But I feel like you don't understand how VRChat can be on Quest unless you've had a Quest yourself, because all of the videos and everything that you've seen on YouTube, they have this like high clarity standard. That's something that a standalone headset like that really doesn't have enough power to unless you're plugging it in. So tell us a little bit about that process of coming in, how QCC was developed, and even comparable, like talk a little bit about the venue that you have currently right now.
Well, I guess I'll start back at the beginning. So, QCC was actually founded by two people that are not myself. I'm just the current owner and the main music event coordinator. The people who founded QCC is Brohammer and the Silver Fox, formerly known as Cabin Country, and they basically came up with the idea together for a community that was a hub that collected up all of the Quest music events and raves, because at the time, a few years ago, there were far less. And if there was a world that was Quest compatible, a lot of the time you would show up and then the music wasn't, due to an improper link that can only be played on PC working. Or something like the world was built technically for Quest, but it was so laggy on Quest you would crash out. Or people didn't know how to do their settings well to not crash out on Quest. Things like that. And so that's why they came up with the idea of QCC. Nowadays, Cruz actually, and he can probably speak to this more than I can, he commissioned a venue that now goes by Midhaven, but we've had it for a few years. We're actually going to use it for our third New Year's party. It's basically it's tradition at this point to use it for our New Year's party. But that's basically our home world lately. We've been using it about once a month, maybe sometimes more. And it's very, very well built and very optimized for both people on Quest and PC. You can get at least 60 frames with a low-end computer in PC VR, or 60 FPS on a Quest 3, a little less on a Quest 2 in it, with it empty. So, which was important to us.
Yeah, so Cruz, why don't you tell us a little bit about that whole process and everything that is now have come to be with the new venue?
So yeah, originally this all started from when I met Llama Hat through Sonar and their group, which he is an excellent world creator. All of his worlds are immaculate. They run great. Really cool ambience for all the music and genres you need. So I reached out and asked about a commission, and at the time he had actually never made a world for somebody, just for himself and for his group Sonar. So I was the first commission, kind of went through a couple different ideas I had. We sat over Discord video calls as he designed it, and poof, it was in existence. It was like he's just so good at what he does. So, it was no problem really to adapt any of my ideas or kind of, build around what I envisioned. But overall, once we got that done, we premiered it on New Year's Eve, actually, that year. I think it was 2022, New Year's
Sounds
to
about right.
2023,
That was yeah, that
into
was 20
2023.
23.
yeah,
Yeah,
into
Yes.
2023.
Yes.
Yes.
And it was right away a huge hit. Everybody showed up that we could have asked for. It was popular all night. And so, yeah, ever since then, we've been using it every New Year. We always have like a big party there. And yeah, it was meant to be built for Quest people to come through and experience a nice lighting rig and good sound optimization, so they can get in there and not have to, crash out like you said on other venues. And we built it in mind so everybody can run really well there and still have a great experience, hopefully as close as they can to if they had a PC rig themselves.
So just to get a kind of a clarification and a better idea, I know having those types of maps are super important. And funny enough, again, what we're going to be talking a lot about, well, it's not very funny enough, we haven't gotten there yet, but the fact that the holiday season is right around the corner, despite the fact that spooky month is an entire month comparable to Thanksgiving and Christmas and even New Year's as well, is that in time, as everything gets pushed forward for the remainder of 2025, there's going to be a magical moment where everybody's going to be like, oh, wait a minute, VRChat has a bunch of New Year's Eve maps, and we could revisit every year. And then the same thing goes for QCC as well, where it's just like, oh, I'm thinking about New Year's. Why don't we go in there and, get prepared and get more hype for the show? So talk to us about that hype within your community. You're saying that you were able to push it in 2023 and you keep using it every year. Talk to us a little bit about that process too, with full body tracking and having dancers and what it's like to be DJing with a Quest in a Quest compatible world with other Quest users.
Yeah, so ever since that one year we used it, we try to reuse it again for specific events. We have one called Base Haven. The experience DJing with a Quest headset is, I actually plug into PC, so I'm not standalone, but I have tried it on standalone. I prefer to plug in just for my, operations, but it works both ways. It's not like, necessarily a hard thing to do. It's, like I said, it's optimized, and I've had it to where I might have DJ'd at another club where it, lags out still. I have to kind of, lift my headset up and not look at the screen because I'm lagging so hard. But never has been an issue at Midhaven. It's always run really well. I rarely see any DJs crash out there, to be honest, if ever.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I
World
don't
is
think
pretty
ever.
stable.
Yeah.
As far as like dancers, we have a couple like side stages that we can change it from speakers to just open stage. We maybe a poll if people have like kind of thing. And it seems like they really enjoy. We've had a lot come back and want to come back that have been there, and we kind of have a giant screen right behind them, flashing colors and kind of illuminating their um, avatars really nicely, and it makes for really good pictures as well. So we kind of keep it special. We would probably play there more, but we like to keep it special for like special events. So people come back and they kind of get extra hype, building that hype that you were talking about by making it a little bit exclusive here and there.
Now, I know we're going to talk a little bit more about the technical aspects of being able to perform in Quest, hardware, software, stuff that normal DJs like you guys. And I have to introduce you guys too, because of the fact, we just know that GiggleLord is the owner. We don't know about you guys. You're just here to kind of hang out. But at the same time, all of these. All of these technical issues are important to bring up, especially for those people that are entering into it. Again, I'm going to be a broken record on this program today, but again, there's a lot of people, and I think even today I saw a teaser about the Deckard coming out. Not anything like coming down the line that it's going to happen, but even the fact with the big screen beyond and Vive always coming up with something fun, and it being money, comparable to spending all this money, you're going to want to get something a little bit cheaper to see if you even like it. There's a lot of people that think about VR and then the motion sickness happens, and I can't help but feel like they would be spending, $1,000 just to not have a really good experience with it compared to something that they could enjoy. So speaking of which, of the fact that how you were saying that when you perform, you do plug into the PC to gain more power, as well as the aspects, and it's something that I actually haven't got. I just started to learn this year when I picked up a Quest 3, just to do it standalone, and I was like, okay, these are the restrictions. This is what I can see. This is what I can't see. I can also have just 2 hours of battery compared to it just being plugged in. So on a DJ aspect, okay, and again, we'll get into you guys too. I probably should mention to the chat that the guys here, WYLDA and Cruzbot, are the resident DJs here at QCC. Probably should have announced that originally, besides saying, hey, you guys are here. But break down your process of that, because as you were saying, there's a moment in time where things start to lag out a little bit. You have to lift up your headset so you don't get motion sickness, or even of the fact that with the Quest 3, you technically don't need controllers, that you can lock your hands and you can kind of do that. So between the two of you, I don't know who would want to start with that process of understanding.
I'll start.
Yeah, be able to break it down for us,
Cruz
especially
got a
for
Quest
people
over
that
there.
are interested and wanting to pick up a Quest 3 with all of the different technicals that you can be doing as a DJ.
Yeah, I can give you an idea of how I run my setup prior to an event. So I have a Quest 2 actually still, kind of archaic, but it still works for what I need. And so, to prepare for an event, I have an extra battery pack that gets charged. The headset gets charged as well. I double check everything, settings as well as my Wi-Fi. I prep everything up. I actually use hand tracking myself when I DJ, so I don't really have to use controllers. But depending on the venue, I have to make sure my height is leveled out to where it is. And once I get everything going, the stream on OBS, record box going in, into my computer, and then that feeding into the stream, that feeding into VRCDN. Then I'm able to DJ. And, I've gone about it a lot of different ways because I had a older headset at one point. I think it was a Reverb G2 is where I started, which is a PC only headset. But those, you couldn't do hand tracking with that. So I always had to have controllers in my hand. It was kind of hard to do. It seems like with a Quest, and like I said, using a Quest 2 even, it's still one of the most easier headsets to use when DJing, in my personal experience. Obviously, something like the big screen Beyond would be lighter and way more optimal for you. Of course, it's very expensive. But for somebody trying to get into like entry level, even a Quest 2 can do it as long as you have an extra battery pack so you don't, die out while you're DJing. Make sure everything's charged. Make sure your stream is good because I am wireless too. So usually I'm not plugged in when I'm DJing. I'm actually running through Steam Link. So everything's all wireless. I'm all good to go. I don't have any kind of like restrictions or tethers. And usually it's just about keeping your settings, optimized and making sure, everything is running good prior to getting into the event and, double checking.
And what about you, Wilda, too? Do you do something similar?
So mine's just slightly different. I actually do two things. What you mentioned earlier is the stream that you may have seen when I have my camera live and stuff. That I'm in complete desktop mode in VR, and I just stream my Twitch link to the world. And so that setup's a little different. I just move my DJ deck like from that streaming room to my PC if I'm doing like just in VR sets or on camera sets, and for a while it was like pretty sporadic. I only did on camera streams for a long time, and it was pretty sporadic. Then I came up with like a schedule, a routine, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday I would do different genres for those nights. So I kind of built up my thing doing that for a long time. And now I've given up Wednesday so I can do in VR sets. So I have an index. I can't speak to Quest users on like how to set up for that part. But I imagine the other stuff is pretty similar. I run OBS Streamlabs. I have my DJ decks going into an audio interface to capture the sound, and plug in the link, get going. I'm notorious for not charging my hands. I've ran out of hand battery so often during my sets, but it's fine, But yeah, that's kind of like my setup, my back and forth setup that I have going on.
He has this running joke where he DJ'd so hard that his arm fell off.
I'm sorry, what?
Because his hand's dead, so he DJ'd so hard his arm fell
Usually
off.
when I'm like hard techno, like one of my arms just goes dead. Like, yeah, I'm DJing with one hand.
I think it's equally funny too, because we have some members of QCC in the back, and they're enjoying the conversation. And I heard word from our producer that your microphone in world is mute, so they can't hear you talking.
Oh.
And then all of a sudden Giggle's coming to be like,
my bad.
Yeah, you're coming in, and then all of a sudden your arm falls off. They have no clue in the back going on. What's going on?
What happened?
And then his arm fell off.
That's wild.
No context at all.
Just silence.
Yeah. But I mean, again, all of that is
guys.
super interesting too, and even over the fact that I know earlier in the before we even started live streaming is Wilda. I was seeing some of Wilda's content on Twitch with some really awesome looking lighting effects in the background and a big old console and just the whole scene there. And I think a lot of people, they have their opinions on desktop streaming in VR. We've had a lot of DJs perform in VRChat, but solely on desktop, and there's nothing wrong with that. I feel like we can also be able to say, hey, if you want to do that, that's perfectly okay too. Tube does that all the time. So like, if you were to go to Tube, they bring in guests that are not in VR, and then they're just like, oh my gosh, VR is so cool. But you can't just throw a DJ into VR that's never been in VR with a headset and be like, okay, now do the thing, but you can't see.
Yeah. I was going to say on that real quick is that, yeah, one of the reasons why I started branching towards sets in VR was the immersion factor. Like for me, like doing the sets in VR versus on camera, like I feel a lot more exhilarated, like hyped up, when I can like see people and we're all in the same place together, like vibing. So that's why now, like maybe like a lot of weekend sets I do VR sets,
I'm
but
really
I
glad
still
that
keep them Monday. Yeah,
I'm really glad that you brought that up too, because I do know that there are a lot of Twitch streamers that are DJs that are having difficulties with doing IRL gigs because there aren't enough people that are interacting, or they're trying to interact with the people and they don't seem very interactable. And they're trying to blame it on something, regardless of it being like, oh, it's a slow night, or not enough people go out, or whatever. But even comparable to VR, there's always someone here. And if you were to do something IRL, of course, you're only going to have a handful of people that want to party lest they're tired. Here, you have the entirety of the world that wants to come and party. So you will have as many people as you possibly can that have been in VR in general.
yeah,
But like, we're still trying to tell those IRL people that like at some point in time, like you're gonna have to deal with it because you only have a certain amount of people in your area, but you should be coming in here to explore everything that's going on here, because there are people in here wanting that, as opposed to going to a venue where they may want it.
exactly. I live in an area where the music scene, like there's nothing around me for probably 3 hours, right? I'd have to travel to a bigger city, a more rural area. And so for me, like this is like the perfect outlet, when I started way back then.
And hearing about that too is super interesting, and I do want to get into the resident DJs and talk a lot about that on the program. Of course, we got plenty to talk about today, so I would say strap on in. And this VRCDJ Live, of course, if you're brand new to the program or if you're in chat right now, ask your questions. This is the time, man. We always talk about it here on the program that like it's Thursday. We have Friday tomorrow. That's going to pretty much kickstart your weekend, and between things that are happening on the timeline and other underground events and even quest related events, you're going to watch even tomorrow's event. You guys have a big old event happening tomorrow, which we're going to talk about.
Oh, a huge one.
And but at the same time too, like you're gonna want to ask the questions now compared to like running into these guys while they're working at the event. So feel free, don't be shy, don't be bashful, ask your questions. And for those people that are rewatching on YouTube, drop off the comments so that way we know exactly what you guys are looking for in the future. Speaking of which, again, WYLDA and Cruz of QCC being resident DJs. We'll start with one of you on kind of talking about, just kind of break down a little bit about your style, how you even got into DJing, what inspired you to do VR stuff as opposed to IRL stuff. Who wants to start?
I'll start it off.
Go for it.
So when I came into VR, I did the average explore a black cat, explore a couple other worlds, and I was like, this is cool. Like I had a good time. But I felt like maybe there was something else and I didn't know it at the time. So I kind of put the headset down. This was maybe late 2021, maybe around Thanksgiving. So almost pretty close to where we're at right now. But when I got back in, I found a Club Orion. I'm sure a lot of people know of that being one of their first clubs. It was mine. And I went in and saw people dancing, having a great time. I was like, what is all this? What's going on here? And so I started going there frequently and realized I kind of wanted a piece of that. Like I wanted like a piece of the DJ experience. I'm previously a musician. I've played live and stuff, but I never really DJ'd prior to VRChat. But I do love music, all kinds. So I thought, why not give it a shot? And so that's where I started. And this is prior to QCC as well. So I started really just by playing random places anywhere I could, just through at first PC. Like I didn't even have decks yet. And then when I did find the QCC, I stumbled upon Brohammer. And it's the funny story with this is that I used to sneak on stages when the other DJs were done, like when the night was over. I would like glitch onto the stage and like put my link in and start playing, which is probably kind of rude looking back on it, but the music would stop and then everybody would be standing and like, what do we do now?
I
So
mean,
then I
take
was like, let's keep
advantage
the
of it
party
while you
going.
got it, right?
Exactly. And I never was really like told like, oh, don't do that. That's a horrible thing. But at that time, Brohammer, who was running the QCC, he was like, oh, I really like your style. At this time, I was kind of just open format DJ. I would play, a little bit of this and that. But he introduced me into like mid tempo and One True God, and he was like, check this song out. And usually I'm kind of picky on music, and I was like, okay, I'll see whatever the song's about. And he showed me a One True God song, and that totally blew me away, put me into the mid tempo game. And that's kind of like where I started with like kind of darky, bassy music. And then so the next level was once I went to Shelter for my first time. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have that happen to them too. I had no idea it got like that big and was that packed. And I went to see 2TD, and I had never heard of like bass music like that at the time. I know about dubstep, but I didn't know about like different types of bass music and whatnot from UK and from over the pond and other places. But it blew me away, completely changed my, perspective of what DJing could be in VR and how you can throw events. And actually, it was to me, being someone who has gone to many live events. It felt like the closest experience to the real thing, and I had such a great time. I was like, I gotta like double down and go all in. So I bought my first decks. It was a DDJ 200, actually, super simple thing, but I just wanted something right away. I bought it from somebody off of Facebook Marketplace for like $60.
Perfect.
And yeah, and then I spun my first set on it and instantly was addicted. And kind of everything snowballs from there. I get a FLX4. I start kind of expanding my horizons on music, trying new genres, and trying to find my sound. Start posting my sets to SoundCloud, and yeah, it just kind of that's when you offered residency on QCC. And I was, delighted to be able to play for you guys whenever, I still am.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah.
I was just gonna say he just put it. You just posted your 100th thing on
Oh,
SoundCloud. So basically,
it was a couple
I
sets
think
ago, but yes, like over 100. Like, well, not
yeah.
100 sets in general, but like after all the sets I've done and some of the music I released prior, yeah, it's over 100 things I posted on SoundCloud at this point.
Oh,
But
it's
it
wild.
doesn't seem to be stopping anytime soon, so I'm pretty
That's
sure we'll.
amazing.
Yeah, I was kind of blown back by that too. I was like, "Whoa, 100. Okay, that's fine. I should just keep posting, right?" Nobody's getting tired of this. I can't believe they are. No, it's. I just figured I archive all the stuff I've done because all the sets I've played and all those events are really meaningful to me. And I try to like write a description about what happened or who made it possible in each one. And they're all memories, to be honest. Like all of my sets I feel are like encapsulated memories I've had DJing in VR. And so I try to post as often as possible. But I did eventually upgrade to a DDJ 1K. I have 4 channels now. It's been great. I never looked back. I love that thing. It's a workhorse and it just keeps going. I've sweat onto it and it's gone dirty and it just keeps it just keeps
I
going.
mean,
So
hopefully you're
Sounds
cleaning it
um,
too.
dangerous.
You're not just like leaving it all there. That's kind of
no,
nasty. Yeah.
I actually discovered that there's a thing called fader spray that if your fader gets broken, there is an electronic conduit type spray. You can just spray real quick into it, move your faders around, and then they start working again.
Hmm.
So yeah, I had no idea there was such a thing, but it came in handy for me. Hopefully for anybody else having fader issues, get some fader spray.
I think it's a really good concept that you're able to bring up too. We don't talk too much about it because we never really have enough time, do we? We come in here and we party. A lot of people have to come in here and they drink and just unwind and they do them pretty much. But being able to just talk about, and we brought it up several times before, where just like if someone's going to go perform at an event, save the poster. Someone has to create the poster. So someone, go on and save the posts that are on social media. That's kind of important to be able to showcase. I think a lot of people in here, when they DJ, they want to not only showcase what they're doing, but at some point in time, once they get good and once they get better, they're going to want to like have something physical that they can actually showcase, show off to people that are constantly, being like, so what? Oh, you DJ in VR? What's that like? And then you're just like, bro, I can't even begin to tell you. Like, I have to have videos and photos and stuff like that. But that makes a lot of sense, and that's really cool that you're doing that. So I urge you to keep doing that. It's very important. I want to ask a real cheeky question between the two of you, because I know you're kind of going back and forth, but it doesn't seem. It seems like a lot of communities do have resident DJs, but they don't refer to them as resident DJs. They just refer to them that the DJs perform there consistently, as opposed to not often, but not all the time. Do you think that's something that some of the clubs in here should start kind of leaning in towards?
Well,
That's a good question.
You can go.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's mostly like a title of convenience, but it also is, so it designates for me, it's like, so that it tells me that this is someone, and it tells our host, this is someone who, if you ask them to DJ, they're likely to say yes. They're consistent. They show up on time. Their sets are always solid. Their tech's not breaking. And then in my community, I actually grant them additional permissions in the Discord and in the VRChat group. For example, they don't often, this doesn't happen often, but any of the resident DJs can throw pop-ups whenever they want. They have permissions to just open a world with no questions asked in VRChat if they really wanted to throw a pop-up. So that's what separates a resident DJ versus a DJ who DJs for us. And a lot of the time when someone DJs for us, and it's the first time, if I really liked their set, if they did great, there weren't any issues, they're really easy to work with, very friendly, and so on and so forth, like, I'll definitely invite them back. And then as I build that relationship, like, they could become a resident DJ. There's not really requirements. It's just rather that they're trusted in our community and they're reliable.
And that's super awesome to think about, too, because of the fact that I think most of the time the DJs in here, they're always looking for a way to level up, whether it's trying to find more bookings, maybe play those really important venues or events, or even the festival events that happen here occasionally, or shelter, like that's a given. I feel like everybody has that on their bucket list. But being able to add that extra layer to say, we do trust you. We love that you perform. We see that there's potential. And for the business part of it, the back end of it, if you were to go ahead and say that when you're going to try to do IRL listings, I mean, that's just as good as getting paid. That the fact that you have this big group and a lot of people in the Discord, a lot of people coming out to all these events, that you are trusted, that at some point in time, you could, if someone gets sick, that you can always pop on or you can perform. Obviously, with a residency, you don't want to be there forever, lest you want to be like the old crony at the bar that will never leave the bar. At the same time, you'll be comfortable, sure, but you're always looking for that way to kind of level up. And being able to do that in a community is so wild. I would have never thought about doing it like that. But, and I think a lot of people in VR needs to kind of consider that, really, especially if they do want to grow or become more professional and stuff like that. Let's get in with WYLDA here about your involvement within VR. I would assume IRL started before the VR stuff, or how did that all kind of play into where you're at right now?
Yeah, sort of. So Cruz and I have a lot more in common than people may think. So I also grew up like a musician. I had a real big taste in metalcore, progressive. Gent. Like we vibe on that. So like in high school, I started playing guitar and did it for most of my life. And so I played live with that, and I wasn't really into the EDM house scene, techno, all throughout that, right? And one of my homies that I went to high school with, and he brought me out to my first house show. It was like a 3-day festival, and I was like instantly like captured, right? Like I was like, oh my god, like what have I been missing, you know? And that was also around the same time that I was getting into VRChat. So I funny story. So my index, I traded up an iPad to my friend. He wasn't using the index. He was like, I don't want it. Trade me your iPad. Okay, cool. So I got it, got into VRChat, and then I started playing guitar through my mic in like those Black Cat worlds, you know, the Great Pug. That's where I met a lot of people like Albeck over there in behind the booth, and Miu, just a lot of great homies that we've come to love with them. So and basically I started DJing through my mic. That's when I found like the club scene, and Orion, same thing, first world. We threw a lot of pop-ups there, so we just kind of kept going with that. Found our way into some other clubs, and it was like, what was the year that I met you guys at?
I
It was
definitely
during
know
It
you,
was
Crew
Keeb's World,
Broman.
right?
Club
Yes.
Penguin is like
Yeah.
when we used to like hang out. That's where we all, I think, first got
Oh,
together.
yeah, we were at the Club Penguin nightclub.
Yeah, that's where like found my way into that. Met all the homies, and yeah, just kind of amplified through there, you know. So majority of the time throughout all that, I was doing my own streaming thing, of course, like I said, the Monday through Wednesday thing, and kind of built up my own group as well, the rave group that I represent. And but we've been throwing sets for each other. Like Cruz has played at a world I made. I'm not like too crazy at world building, but like, you know, I'm learning. And so that's kind of how where I am now, you know. I started out on house and techno when I started DJing. I'm more into like harder techno now. I do like a lot more hardcore sets. Cruz has been rubbing off on me his experimental bass wisdom, then getting me into that. And
Infected by
yeah,
the
honestly,
bass.
it's got me, and I'm loving it. But yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at now.
So it seem like a little bit of a
bromance is
hard
real.
question too. The fact that again, you guys started maybe about 4 years ago, give or take, and even going into a scene where there was a smaller, a medium amount. I don't want to say a small, large amount, but like a medium amount of DJs coming in, trying to make a name for themselves, and continuing on to the point of where we are today, where there's just literally DJs everywhere. It seems like a whole village. It seems like Times Square of DJs where we're just hanging out being like, gigs, bookings, gigs, what are we doing something? You do events, festivals, you know? So,
Pop up.
yeah, pop-up, you have pop-ups? So where do you see it now? Especially and again, like, man, I'm going to ruin everything for everything today because of the fact that, again, it's spooky month. We're feeding into the holiday season. I don't want to sit here and shake my finger and say, I told you so, but it's something that we constantly have to feed into and be cognitive about, you know, the fact that this is going to happen. More users are coming in, more people are going to want to DJ. And then we're going to start seeing even more names that we haven't recognized. So throughout your journey in here, how has that been for you? And where are you hoping to go, even going into 2026?
Well, I'll talk about the journey. Like, I think the best part of it all is like, you know, it may become like oversaturated at some point with you know, everyone being a DJ, which is totally cool because for me it's how do I like it's broadened my horizon. Like knowing everyone that I've talked to, hung out with, and their musical tastes, and then you know I try to dabble into it, and so for me it's been nothing but uplifting, you know, taking me to different places that we're all going together, and where I see it going, that honestly I can't really say for sure, you know. um I feel like maybe the weekends are a bit more oversaturated, but like the weekdays, I still feel like there's still room for a lot of great events to happen. So I'm sure we're gonna continue seeing the rise in it. Yeah.
Speaking about all the different events that happen, especially during the weekdays, and I'd love to break it down at some point in time, because I do see certain events happening on certain days, and I think there's a lot of chill events during the weekdays. I think going into about Thursday time, we start to see people that are really either hesitant to want to play on the weekends, or they're just starting out and they're looking for a smaller crowd. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, obviously, that's basically where all of our times are going. But I want to get back to Giggle a little bit about just QCC in general, and not even just explaining about your event that happened yesterday. I mean, again, you had a major event that happened yesterday. Even compared to this entire year, I mean, I would assume you guys are cooking. You guys are cooking very well. So kind of break down 2025 so far with QCC and how well it's been kind of going for you.
Honestly, this year's been awesome. It's been great. Like I was saying a little earlier, we've been able to collaborate with a few different groups that I never thought we would be able to. We've been able to book DJs that maybe it's imposter syndrome or I don't know. I never thought they'd be interested in playing for us. Um, I just thought, oh, well, we're just QCC, we're just Quest compatible clubbing. We're a different scene from the PC VR scene, but it's all one scene. And I'm coming to realize that more and more. And I'm coming to realize that some of the most popular and best respected DJ communities, like in VRChat, are Quest compatible as well. Like Tube immediately comes to mind. And so like I was like, for example, about 2 months ago, we did a Chill Sunday event with the group that runs Kaleido Sky, Built on Love, because I'm friends with Rue, and Rue's she's excellent. She's a shout out to her. She's a bit of an inspiration to me. I love how she runs things, and I love how friendly and peaceful and calm and chill her community is. And running that event just I felt like the love from her community for the DJs that we brought out and vice versa. And I want to see that and feel that like reciprocity. We've also had some of the best DJs come out to our Bass Haven event, which is bass focused and hard dance focused. We usually pick a theme for the night. The theme might be drum and bass, or it might be hard techno, or it might be mixed experimental bass or something like that for the night. We usually schedule about 4 DJs, and lately we've also been scheduling 2 to 4 dance groups to come and dance on the wings of the stage. We've had the VR pole dancers come out, and I swear my jaw was on the floor, like like the whole time they were out and dancing. I couldn't pay attention to anything other than them dancing because it just amazed me. But the Faceless has come out. We've had dancers from a few groups called Carpe Noctem, and another one called Demonic Temptations. Like we're collaborating with all sorts of different people and trying out all sorts of different things. I'm basically like running experiments all the time on things. And I love our freedom to be able to do that, to be able to run these variety events where we pick a theme for the night, we pick some genres for the night, we try and craft and curate the lineup for the night, try to keep it consistent, try to keep it of a consistent, nice quality, but also try something new, try new DJs, try a new venue for the night. That's a free Quest compatible public one, because there's hundreds now, thousands of those that are excellent to use. So why not use that for a weekend event? I don't know. That's where I think we're at this moment.
I kind of want to circle back around to the whole idea of we're just Quest compatible community, and the fact that you were kind of being it's so unreal for you to know that people know of you and they love you and they love your community and how they love how you're able to put that together. being able to collaborate with Kaleidosky and Rue and these other communities, especially with the dancers, is super important as well. But I'm gonna ask a really weird, beaten around the bush kind of question that we're still trying to identify as a community overall in VRChat, and that is saying the fact that your community is built off of Quest compatibility and being able to bring in people that just have the Quest that don't have anything stronger for all of the PC stuff that you would normally streamline in if you were going to plug in. Comparing that and having that as a cornerstone of the community compared to maybe, let's just say, the fur DJs that exist and they're over here, as well as the PC people that are over here, could that potentially be a problem, or do you find that your community of people is just right to be able to have just that area over here? And I know for QCC, your community wants to grow. You want to have as many people as part of it as possible, but I feel like that could also ruin the magic of what you currently have right now. Does that make a little bit of sense?
Yeah. Like going too broad. I would say that with some of the things that we've experimented with, for example, some people we've collaborated with, some DJs we've scheduled. Yeah, sure, it was a little bit of a flop. But it's a learning experience, and also we're literally like in VR playing a game. I would call this more of a social experience than a game, but I digress. Like, we shouldn't be taking this too terribly seriously. At the end of the day, a lot of people are on here to DJ to practice. A lot of the time, there's no money exchanging hands. I'm making these events, creating the posters, scheduling DJs, planning things for free. A lot of the time, the DJs are performing for free. And there's both a benefit to that and also some drawbacks to that. A benefit is that if something flops, like, okay, well, whatever, we didn't invest anything in it. If something like totally hits off, like, that's awesome. Like, let's repeat that. Let's try that again. Let's learn from that as well. And at the end of the day, we're all just taking the skills that we have IRL and applying them here. I guess a little tidbit about me is that I have a few degrees, including a bachelor degree in organizational leadership, and I'm taking those skills and applying that in VR here. At the same time, I also sometimes, for fun, will go dance for 15-30 minutes. Most of the time at my group's events. And that's both for like personal improvement and so on, and keeping up my physical fitness and all of that. But also, I feel like I've gotten better at dancing by just being in here and doing that. In a space where it's more accessible for me than going out every single weekend to IRL and dancing in some awkward club where a bunch of drunk guys are hitting on me or whatever, and I paid a bunch of money to be there. Like, it's I don't know, what we have here, I feel like is the benefit. And it's sometimes, yeah, my reach might go too far, and sometimes I might flub on planning something by going by trying something out, experimenting. Well, it happens though.
So what would you say is the expectation for someone that either just got a Quest or they're looking to come in on Quest? I feel like QCC would be the go-to. It would be one of those things to say, hey, I'm looking for a Quest compatible club. Wouldn't you know it? That's what it stands for. Even compared to, and even with Club Orion too, is that for some Quest users, Club Orion is very harsh. Standalone. I don't know so much about it being tethered, but being able to experience that, sure, but just be prepared that you have so limited power to be able to run off of that. But as far as QCC's like kind of not really agenda, but just like ideals, is it just mostly for people that are looking for their first step in VR? or their first introduction to DJing, or how would you identify QCC?
I would say both, but also kind of neither, because that's not necessarily the focus. The idea is that specifically for our events, I have a little bit of a benchmark here. I want the world that we use to be 30 FPS, so 30 frames per second, for someone on Quest 2 standalone or a kind of older Android cell phone. And I want it to be where when they look around the world, particularly a lot of the time it'll be the stage with all the lights, if they're getting this sickening screen tearing across their screen, I also don't want that. Like a directional sort of lag. I've experienced that on Quest and on PC. I started on Quest myself, and I was on standalone for about the first 6 months that I used VRChat, then a lower powered PC, a higher powered PC, and now a higher powered PC, and now a Quest Pro with full body tracking. It's just been a progression for me. And so I know what it's like exactly to be on Quest standalone. So I want to be hitting that baseline. I also want every single DJ set to be able to be heard at the same latency by someone on PC and Quest. And so, and I want our events to be enjoyed by people 18 and up. But other than that, I want it to be as inclusive as possible. If you don't like the genre of music, go to a different Quest compatible club. I don't know what to tell you about that. I can't pick the music for you if it's already scheduled for the night. But I can. That's basically like what I'm trying to achieve here. Now, extra little bonus points would be if all the DJs for the lineup for the night have Quest compatible avatars, so they can be perceived by everyone. If all the dancers or most of the dancers for the night can. If many or most or all of the attendees have Quest compatible avatars, that's another bonus. But I feel like those are kind of optional because a lot of people on Quest are only looking at 5 to 20 fully shown avatars at any given point anyways because of the limitations of the platform. And now with Android cell phone, that's actually what I use to world test before a lot of our events. I'm like, I found this new cool world. I'll just pull my cell phone out and I'll go to the VRChat mobile and I'll load the world up. And I watch the FPS in the corner because it runs basically about the same as my Quest Pro does, standalone, give or take. A little faster to set up and all of that. And I'll do some testing in the world and make sure everything looks right. And it hits that minimum, basically. And that way, all of my friends, everyone on my friends list can join. Everyone who's new, but an adult can join. And that's basically like what I'm going for.
If you currently have a Quest at home and you're looking for a group to be a part of QCC, we've got the numbers for you for the VRChat group in the bottom left corner of the screen. So I would encourage anybody that's in VRChat to kind of take a look at all of that and kind of get to know everybody here from QCC, of course. And I want to know what your community thinks. I know it seems kind of generic to ask that type of question, but compared to having all of the people that proactively either want to come in for events, or music events, or even just casual gaming events or hangouts and stuff like that. Talk to us a little bit about that process too, because, while we're in here and we love music, it's VRCDJLIVE as opposed to just VRC chatting live, I guess. What other fun things can the people in your community do that they proactively like to do that you know of that you can tell us?
Well, sometimes we do other sorts of events. For example, actually on our Discord, I invited the whole community to listen in, and I actually invited them to request off of all three of us if they wanted to come. And we often will do things like the standard hangout in the Discord call. Sometimes some of our DJs, particularly our resident DJs, will spin in there. Maybe lately some folks Um, some folks been watching sports in there, and he's shaking his head. I
F1.
think. And occasionally we'll run different little community nights. We don't really necessarily have the staff for it, but in the past we've done different game hopping, like game world hopping. There we go, nights.
Movie nights.
And yeah, we've done some movie nights. Recently we all hung out for like 4 or 5 hours in the Discord and uploaded Quest compatible avatars that were optimized together, which was fun. Yeah. Turns out
Team
there's
building.
team building activities. Yeah. But we do a ton of collaborations. Basically we do one chill event first Sunday of the month. That's a DJ event called Relaxation Station. Then near the end of the month, on the weekend, we'll do Bass Haven, that event we were talking about. That's hard dance and bass music and so on. And then often we'll have 1+ collaboration in the middle of the month, or a different themed event. A lot of the time with our partners, or a lot of the time with a totally new random group. And I aim to do 3 of those, with little sporadic, interesting things in between.
As far as the community goes, do you find a lot more people are just looking to do more social outreach, or are people genuinely wanting to come in to learn more about DJing, or even just DJing with Quest?
I mean, both. I would say probably weekly every week we have 1+ people, hey, I want to spin for you, or hey, let's do a collaboration, or hey, I noticed you're doing this. How about you, would you be interested in doing this with me? Reaching out to me. There's a lot of community outreach, but we actually do have some people who DJ for us, including one of our resident DJs who DJs on main, using a Quest standalone headset, because he has PC VR, but DJing and also having a headset connected is very laggy for his computer, and he's more likely to crash. He might not, or he might, so he just hops into standalone so his stream stays nice and steady. And I feel like that's a huge benefit even for DJs who aren't normally on standalone, because they can still be there. It's still the physicality. Like you were saying, they can DJ with hand tracking, so they don't even have to. So people will reach out about that. I've had everywhere from people who are just getting into DJing or just getting into producing or something come up and ask us things, all the way to people who have been DJing for a decade or longer, but they just want to know how to do it in VR. And they'll come up and ask us questions too. I'm sure a lot of other community owners get a lot of these questions as well, but they can probably attest to this. I'm on the end of like hyper helpful. So if I don't know an answer, I'm going to find someone who's going to get them that answer. I'm going to find someone to help them. And so I'll send them somewhere else to our partner community or some DJ I know or something like that to get their questions answered.
The entirety of that whole process too, and without kind of eating up too much time on it, I mean, we do have a couple of hours here on the program, so we have plenty of time to talk about it, is just that idea. And again, looking forward to the future, the rest of this year. We kind of had a little bit of a lull in September. I think a lot of people felt it, between people going back to school or working or just constantly being too tired with the changing of the seasons. We've all been there. It's not even just a matter of a few people, but getting an idea of going from that into the holiday season where everybody's going to get their hardware, their software, new headsets and stuff like that, even doing regular outreach and getting an understanding of either wanting to DJ in here or finding new clubs and groups to be able to do that. One of the things that I want to be able to continue to get a better idea of is a lot of the groups, as they continue to promote themselves, as they continue to put out videos and do outreach on social media and stuff like that, is kind of doing an expose on the turnaround of the amount of people that are wanting to come in here, the amount of people that are proactive, and sometimes while there is a lot of people that want to be able to do that and they want to keep pushing those limits, there's also a group of people that are a little intimidated by that, where they're just like, oh, I can't find bookings. Again, we see it at least once a season. Like, there's never enough bookings. I can't get in with certain clubs, or it's intimidating because there's too many people in a club. And again, feeding into the process of how inexpensive it is to purchase a quest, a basic quest, not just anything fancy like Quest Pro or anything like that. But being able to do that and then introducing your ideas to either QCC or another type of compatible club like that. How has that turnaround kind of been as of recently? Obviously, your program's been running for a couple of years now, so you've been able to see some new DJs come and go. You've seen the revolving door of the seasons and stuff like that. But again, we're sitting a nice, perfect time to do a little bit of forecasting going into a holiday season and some new headwears coming out. And wouldn't you know it, somebody somewhere at some point in time is going on YouTube and searching how to DJ in virtual reality, when someone could technically tell you it could be just as simple as using a Flex Floor or a Flex 2, which anybody can do that. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But so it comes with a cheaper headset and a cheaper console. You can go in there and kick as much butt as the regular individual. So how do you start to see it? I would only assume that even right now, and we'll get into the whole age verification thing too, because that's equally important to this discussion, especially going into the holiday season, where I think a lot of VR chat, there's a oh gosh, I wish that there was a funnier word for it, but there's like a weird rumor of like, oh, most Quest users in here are underage, which that's never the case. You could always just get a Quest. I have a Quest to travel with. I'm not going to be traveling with base stations and like a power PC, tethered to my hip. I want something that's a little bit more compatible for what I want. But as we kind of look into the future and we forecast into the future of being able to have a Quest headset and the turnaround rate and the people that are interested in DJing, but also on the limited power thing, how has that reflection been for you in the past couple of years, even going into 2026?
Well, so I would say within the last year and a half, I've kind of developed a process for scheduling DJs. Now, when it's a collaboration, of course, the collaborators they're bringing their DJs, and so I'm just trusting them to book someone who knows what they're doing. Do they always? No. Most of the time, though, yes. When it comes to if I am booking for one of our events or being the main person doing so, or getting help from Cruz or from WYLDA, I'm sure that we want to know someone who's vetted, someone who's not like I was saying earlier, someone who's not going to crash, someone who's trusted in the community. So a lot of the time I'll ask for a set. I'll ask for a sample. And so maybe that's a really good place to start. If someone wants to get into DJing in VRChat, would be to use the really cool in-camera setup that they have here. You can open up the camera, you can click a stream button, open up OBS, and then maybe you would use Streamlabs in addition or something like that. Use another software in addition to get all of your DJ software working. Figure out how the stream link works very easily, very cheaply. You can just use Twitch and take that Twitch link and put it into the video player in the world and then record yourself playing. It could even be on desktop mode with your avatar just doing the Cabbage Patch and like a little pose or something like that. It doesn't have to be fancy, but I want to hear the person spin. Or it could just even be visuals and a video. And they don't even go into VR at all. And they could send me that. If I can hear that, if I haven't heard of them, haven't seen them booked anywhere, that's a really easy way for me to know, like basically like the quality of sound that I'm expecting. And also if they're going to, I guess, like hit the theme of the event. If we're running an all bass house event, for example, and they want to play techno, like that's great. I love techno, but that's not what we're going for the night. For example. So I guess I hope that I answered all your questions there.
I know it
it
seems a little tough because we're looking at like, you know, a timeline of like maybe like 3 years or so comparable to what
Yes.
I'm looking for. I'm also kind of like pushing a bunch of information, a bunch of questions your way too. It's a little
Yeah, I
complicated.
think there was like 4 questions in there, and I think that I answered 2 of them.
I do want to break that concept down too about having the right materials to be able to showcase to these specific clubs. That's equally important. There's so many people that come in here and they don't, it's not a matter of they have poor club etiquette, but like you have to have a little bit of business savviness when you're DJing
Yes.
in here. Because while you I got the best word of advice the other day, and that is you really can't be putting on your social medias that bookings are open, that if you're looking to like get actual IRL bookings, if you have no physical evidence of what you've done.
Yes.
You can't promote yourself and the things that you say that you can do comparable to the things that you've done with the video footage of you doing those things. And the other side of that too is that social media is free. So obviously you want to use all of the social media that you possibly can to show off the things that you have done previously comparable to the things that you were doing, which I want to get to Cruz because I know you have something to talk about, but I want your opinion on it too, because earlier on in the week you were explaining how you help out with the bookings and stuff like that. And it might seem a little controversial and might seem a little taboo, especially for the people, and I'm sure we'll get hate comments for this too, but there's a lot of DJs in here that say they do a thing, but they don't show off that that promotional material. So in your mind, what is something that, and I would love to get Wilda's take on this too, because I'm sure the steam is kind of cooking off your brain too, is what would you as a resident DJ kind of expect that other people should be doing in VR, especially moving forward into the new year to better promote themselves?
Yeah, well, I'll kind of go off of what I said earlier with how I post pretty much most of my sets, almost every one of them. Maybe a few don't make it, but I feel like it's a really good idea to record your sets and post them and have somewhere for people to listen to them, because more often than not, that's what I'm looking to listen to from somebody who wants a DJ for us. Or most of the time when I've been able to get bookings at other places, that's what they're looking for from me, and I'm able to provide, you know, a link or multiple links in different genres I've done to fit whatever they're looking for. And I just it's a smart thing for DJs coming into the scene, whether, you know, they want to get booked here with us or somewhere else, to have that credibility and that kind of professional approach to when, hey, if you want to get booked or you want to, you know, show off your sound and showcase what you have, you know, most people are going to look for that. Like, hey, do you have a link or a link tree or socials, like a whole, you know, thing I can see in what you've done and your credibility. I think credibility is a huge thing in here. Most of the time, if somebody just says, hey, can you book me? And there's nothing to show for their, you know, style or skills or anything, then, you know, not to be mean or anything, we're probably not going to pick them over somebody else who has a library of songs they produced, sets they've done, uh, clubs they've played. Of course, we're going to be like, come right on in, you know, like, you're awesome. Like, we'd love to have you. So I think it's really important to put yourself out there as a DJ coming into the scene, you know, because some places will be more welcoming if you haven't. But most of the places that are professional, at least to a certain degree, are going to require you to have that match of level, you know.
And what about you, Wilda, too? Like, you know, being able to perform as well as getting an understanding of performing in VR. What are some things that you're hoping to see that a lot of DJs in our space should start to even practice to do going into the new year?
Honestly, pretty much everything Cruz said, and even like these two here have also been pushing me to like record my sets. So so like with streaming on camera, what I was really comfortable with was doing my normal stream, and then people would come into the world and like for example, shout out to Refuge, because that's how they found me. They came into a world, I was doing my thing on camera, and they were like, yo, like let's get this guy booked. And so they're really good homies, you know. uh Great stuff there. And so that's what I was really comfortable with. Ever since Twitch has the DJ program now, you can't record VODs or clips or anything. So that was like my way of showing like, hey, I do this stuff, you know. So ever since then, I was really lacking on. You definitely should be doing like a recorded set, put mixes out there, SoundCloud, Mixcloud, you know, whatever you got. Post around, like if you're on Discord groups with like the clubs that you're interested in playing at, you know, like try to strike up conversation, be active, you know, like and then go out to the shows and then just kind of like hang out and, you know, see where things lead. I mean, that's all where it comes from, really, is just being there in the space, in the scene, and then you know, showing people what you have. So yeah, 100% agree with everything there.
I know this entire process, we could continue to feed into this until like the next day, I'm sure, because it is something that we're always constantly talking about. And you know, we do bring it up every so often, where it seems almost like biannually, give or take, the fact that, like, well, not maybe biannually, like at least twice a year. That's not biannually. Biannually is 2 years. So like every 6 months, we'll just say it like that. Every 6 months, we always tend to see either a slew of brand new DJs in here, or those DJs that are looking to level up their game and look for new things to do. And again, leading into the fact that the new year is happening with the new headsets and stuff like that, being able to be comfortable with that, but also being able to introduce those ideas to all of the brand new people that do come in here. I can't even begin to tell you so many people that are looking on YouTube constantly on how to DJ with virtual reality, and also how to DJ with virtual DJ, which again is a thing that you can do. And if that's something that you're interested in doing, it's also a really good way to just learn how to do it. Obviously within the industry standard of like Rekordbox and Serato, and using, you know, I think a lot of people use Pioneer equipment. You can use Denon too. A lot of people have been using that. And as some other things, there's nothing wrong with that. It's the same thing with the headset too, is, you know, you don't have to have a Quest, you don't have to have an Index, you don't have to have a Vive, you don't have to have any of the more popular things to come in here and have a good time. But just know that there are some people in here that proactively want to help out new people that want to come in here and either perform or get to know what we've got going on in here. And I don't know, it's like a whole grocery store of things that you can potentially buy and use. But once you know it, it's all under one roof, and we have to just, you know, accept the fact that it's all under one roof. It's VRCDJ Live. We're sitting here with QCC, with WYLDA here, and GiggleLord and Cruzbot. Why GiggleLord? Besides the obvious.
Oh, because of
the giggles.
Because you just kind of
giggles a lot.
Yeah, I do laugh a lot. I laugh when I'm nervous. I laugh when I'm happy. I laugh. I do like a little tortured laugh when I'm like sad and like rethinking old terrible things. You know, I just laugh a lot. It's actually a friend in high school helped me come up with this name, and I've just kind of stuck with it since. I like how, like, you think of giggling, you think of like a little child laughing, or maybe like a cute like little girl, and then like Lord, like a power name. It's a running joke now. People will come up to me, and especially some of my friends will be like, "It's the Lord," and like, you know, I don't know, like it's
Praise
like my
be.
title. Yeah, praise be.
Me Lord.
Yeah, it's silly. Or maybe like, you know how like there's like the God of Dreams and the Lord of Giggles. I bequeath upon you giggles. Anyways, it's very silly. I'm a
Well,
whimsical
laughing's
individual.
infectious, so I
It
think it's
is.
good. I think it's a
It
good thing.
is. It is. I've people actually ask me, why GiggleLord? Oh wait, you're laughing a lot. I get it now. So that's basically
I
it.
mean, obviously, it could be a little worse where you're just constantly giggling, and then you have no room to say words. You're just constantly giggling the entire time.
Oh no,
But
that sounds like a curse.
that sounds like worse than
Running out of air,
hiccups.
giggling.
It sounds like worse than hiccups. You'd be called Hiccup Lord, I guess. But
GiggleLord.
kind of feeding into the whole DJ thing. Don't DJ?
No, I want to get into it. I'm at a point where it's like technically possible, but I don't really have like a setup and a room and a place where I live where it would be easy to do it. Within the next few years, I definitely want to, I think, first start out by getting into visuals, getting into VJing. And I do really love running lights for uh, worlds that we use. Um, I'll I'll if there's any worlds with light panels, I'll mess with them. If there's a large panel of effects, which most of the time are PC only, a nice little treat when they're also Quest compatible. But I'll often run that for our events, or teach someone in the world, hey, friend, come over here. Let me show you how this works. And you run this and I'll go back to hosting, something like that. It's very fun for me, the whole artistic aspect of it. I'm a little bit of an audiophile, and I think being around all of these very talented DJs has really like broadened my horizons, and I know a lot more about music than I did previously. I never studied music in high school, or even in my adult life, so it's very interesting to me to be learning these things from a lot of people who are now my closest friends, who I've met in here. So
It's also great too because we idly talk about peer pressure, not like a negative thing, but just kind of when are we going to see, like in chat, when are we going to see DJ GiggleLord? But at the same time too, it's like
Who said
well,
Soon,
yeah,
very
said
soon.
that?
yeah, I was.
There is like this.
I know a few people who may have said that.
There's like this running joke that we have egged on multiple people, made it a joke constantly until they finally DJ. Miyu, for example,
Yes.
we had for years we've been like, when are we going to see the Miyu set? When are we going to see the Miyu set? And then like now she's selling out shows in VR. It's crazy, like wild.
Yep. Packing worlds
Yeah.
entirely. Sometimes worlds full with a little bit of a queue, and she's headlining for an event we're doing.
Listen, I'm
So great.
I'm not gonna say it. I did get to experience a little bit of that kind of idea this year of like not just pop-ups, but like themed specific pop-ups. And not to get too much into what I was doing, but during around April Fool's Day, I thought it would be really fun to put on a pop-up country event where we had a rave barn, and we had a bunch of chickens and cows, and then people can come and enjoy country music. But that's the thing, is not too many people DJ country music in here, so it was it was a treat to be able to hear all these DJs come in and hear their version of country music. But I feel like that idea of theming, we already have tons of theming nights of different genres, but being able to theme it to a specific style or a specific thing, I feel like that would be a really engaging thing to have going into the new year. I mean, obviously we'll have like Halloween spooky stuff now, and then we'll have some sort of last year's Christmas events didn't really pan out the way that anybody wanted it to. Mariah Carey is continuously thawing, but at the same time too, I heard it, and it's a weird take, but I've heard that there are a ton of people in here that genuinely do not want to hear Christmas music.
I mean, I kind of agree with them because around Christmas, every time I go to every store, I'm already hearing the Christmas music, so I'm kind of burnt out on it from me hearing it everywhere else. So then why would I come into VR and then hear it some more? At the same time, I've heard some really like banging like both like country remixes and totally out there genres and Christmas song remixes around Christmas that were really delightful. Same thing with Halloween. I'm really looking forward to an upcoming mega collaboration we're going to be a part of that will be on Halloween. I'm sure I'm going to be hearing all sorts of crazy Halloween remixes the whole night. So
I was just hearing from someone in chat, Mariah Carey only pop-up event. What are your thoughts?
Oh no.
Hey,
It hasn't
Mariah
been
Carey
done
has
yet,
some
so
bangers.
I mean, would you put on your best Mariah Carey avatar and come in for that?
The same Mariah Carey song for like an hour, but everyone does it the same way. It's like, you know what? It's probably more of a social experiment. We should do that.
You know, I was actually asked from a I was asked by a weed themed group to do Kushmas, like a with them. So
That
weed
could be fun.
themed
Dude,
music or like a
sounds
day
fire.
before Christmas.
Like I don't
Yeah.
understand that concept. I mean, listen, I got to perform at a kava bar like a couple of weeks ago, and I was like up there
Ooh.
doing this stuff, and everybody was just like vibing to their drinks and getting a small
Yee.
subtle high, and I'm just like, am I doing a good job if everybody is half conscious? I mean, if you have a Kushmas, it just seems like everybody's just in their favorite beanbag chair and just vibing.
I
Hey,
mean,
we like to
yeah.
vibe. We vibe in
Yeah.
some events like that. That's why you have the Chill Sunday event. We have a lot of people that just kind of hang
Yeah,
around
yeah,
and
they just come
socialize.
and exactly. They just come and sit in little beanbag chairs or on seats, and they do just do things like smoke weed or or have a few little chill drinks and for the night. We do chill. Basically, our group's so variety. We'll do anything between little chill small events with 10 people in attendance, including the DJ and the staff, all the way to events particularly around New Year's and around holidays or that are big collaborations that are multiple
Birthdays
in.
too.
Yeah, yeah, and birthdays. Our birthday events go so hard. I don't know why. But where the instance is totally packed, almost everyone in there's dancing, everyone in there's talking. There's a queue, people waiting to get in, and so it's nice to be able to have that flexibility, in a way. But also sometimes I feel like when people show up to our events, they don't know what to expect because of that. And honestly, me too.
Yeah, having the thrill of just having it be a mystery is always kind of a plus when it comes to that sort of
Yeah.
stuff. I before we start getting into a little bit more of the nitty gritty, I know one of the heavier topics to discuss that we haven't really brought up on this program for a couple of months now, just to kind of let it simmer and see what other groups had to do with it and their involvement within the age verification process. And I do want to talk a little bit about that because of, again, being able to explain how there have been, I'm not saying that it has been happening recently, but there have been more people, again, going into that concept of using Quest as a babysitting tool. Which is not always a very good. I saw you roll your eyes there, being like, "Yeah, I know." That seemed to happen. And funny enough, I got to
You
join
can't
off of
hide
a
it.
friend. I joined off of a friend
No,
the
I
other
know I
day,
can't hide
and
it.
it was their kid, and the kid was trying to move the headset around, and I was like, "Nope, I'm out." So I just kind of went and did my own thing. We do have a question in the chat though, pertaining to Cruz and Wilda. Did you ever think that you would be DJing in VR chat before actually doing so?
I'll go first. Absolutely not. I'm more of like a metal guy too, like Wilda, and I planned on producing more instrumental type stuff, and I kind of put that on the back burner for a while. But there was a long time where I was looking for an outlet to be creative, and I was trying to figure out what I could do meantime just by myself. because a band is kind of hard work. You need, multiple guys getting together and making it all work like a relationship. So that's not always easy with the way life is right now. It's always so busy, hustle and bustle. But prior to seeing Club Orion and seeing that people could even DJ out here, didn't even ping on my radar. It wasn't anywhere near. And when I seen it, it almost like it picked up really far out on my radar, like just kind of came into view. And I was like, hey, maybe I could express myself musically in a different way than instrumentally, like with instruments or producing, metal music and stuff. I always liked EDM. I grew up with like Dance Dance Revolution and, in my life and a lot of, I was a big fan of Skrillex. I still am, but I knew him when he was in the rock band From First to Last, and watched him kind of go from that same type of thing, metal rock music, into being, a huge DJ. And so when that pinged on my radar, I was like, maybe, that is a possibility. It's all music, right? And just different types of way of expressing it electronically or organically or however. But yeah, no, it wasn't on my to-do list for any of my life up to that point, and then it just kind of came in and took over. Yeah. I didn't see myself doing that.
Yeah, pretty much same. People are gonna start saying that we're like long lost brothers because we're so similar in that aspect. But like,
We are
Oh,
actually.
this is real.
so yeah, because I thought my like peak VR chat experience to express myself musically was I was playing songs and like guitar work through my mic, right? There was like I got into like I was really big into like the open mic worlds, um midnight, no, not midnight, oh my god, Midnight Munchies, yeah, sorry, almost forgot it, but it's been a while. So they're like really huge. They do this theater performance, right? And I thought like that was my thing or was going to be my thing for forever. I would make like cover songs and just go out, play jam, sing a little bit. And then like, so that's where my homie brought me into my first house show. And then I was like, okay, hold on. Where are we going with this? And yeah, the rest is history.
So now the real question is, now that you've kind of dipped your toe into it and you've been in it for a little while, is are you starting to see a career out of it? Are you starting to see a little bit how you want to do more with DJing and more even like IRL DJing too?
So earlier on, I had thought about it as just like a fun thing that I did for my friends, and then that turned into playing actual events, and then that turned into me taking it more seriously, putting more effort into my set creations and song selections. And then that has been snowballing ever since, and I really feel that like this could be a new passion for me. Ever since we had an actual Portal event where we all met up and played, that to me was like a big stepping stone, and being like, do I want to do this? Do I just want to do this for fun in VR, or do I want to do this in a live setting? And will it be fun for me? And then after trying that out, DJing with Wilda together and other members at the time, Keebs and Proto, big shout out to all the guys who came through at that time. I really felt like it take over more. Like I felt like it doubled down. So yeah, absolutely. I would love to play more IRL. I played a few times. Like I threw a few house parties for my birthday IRL where I was at the time, depending on someone's backyard or in the kitchen. And they've been really fun. I've had really like great times playing live even too. And I would love to get to do that more often.
I know a little bit later on we'll get Wilda's response to that too. And I know a little bit later on, I want to be able to pick your guys' brains about that concept, because while we did discuss it a little bit last year about I know Captain Duck at the Party Hub ended up making a tally. We had about 13 IRL VR chat events in 2024 alone, where we have had DJs book venues, sell tickets, do the whole business part of it to see if they can really cook with that, which led to, I would assume, even more this year. And how we're finding out this year, again, people are so proactive that they're so busy with it that they want to be able to do that. It's interesting to hear that concept. and to be able to hear, I would say, the entire journey of what it takes to when you first start to DJ and you come into VR and you learn the entire thing of just like getting booked, finding venues, talking to people, talking to promoters, getting promoted, having a full night, making sure that that you're promoting yourself and all that, and then just having all of that help you do more IRL stuff. But I feel like in VR alone, we are still continuously trying to figure that out. But being able to collect all the data and be able to get a better understanding, and even the people that are just trying to do it as a hobby too, again, that surprises a lot of us in here because we're all volunteering. This is all volunteer. We're in here and we're having a good time, and we're pulling our hair out for making these events. Why? Because it's fun. And we're not getting paid. Why? Because it's fun. It's
We
just
love to do it. I think
Yeah.
it's great for an experience build too. Like if you plan on playing IRL at any time, there's plenty of places to practice here at any time. You can
Mhm.
play at all times of the day in a different country. All this is experience to build up and take it to the IRL venues, and it almost is almost like a training device or a training kind of program for us as DJs to really kind of fill out our style and build that up to where we don't have to go through the woes of trying out playing at clubs and failing and not even knowing what kind of sound we have yet. And in this case, we could do it here, figure that out, and translate that to IRL in the future.
I think it's equally funny too because well, it's not really funny, it's just the delay in time, but like it's interesting whenever like there's a throwback event and we get some Europeans that come in here and they're requesting something that is so old compared to like something that is recently old, or something that is recently old hasn't existed yet because they're just listening to it now. Like Sabrina Carpenter, for example. Like maybe they're starting to get into Sabrina Carpenter, but the people in the States have endured Sabrina Carpenter for literally about a year, and they're just like, oh, it's brand new music, and we're like, no, what, this not really. So I love that type of engagement too, because there are some people that are a little behind based on the time zones and stuff like that. But what about you, Wilda? I mean, again, for someone who has invested a lot of time and effort and money into having a complete setup, especially for Twitch streaming, as well as a desktop streaming, how does that kind of characterize your career and what you want to do, regardless of even performing in here or even making a career on Twitch?
Yeah, so I would say like the biggest thing that I think we touched on before was like just having fun with it, and having a passion for it. I've built my setup over the years and started out, kind of small, but I've been very fortunate and I'm grateful to have have had a lot of supporters over the years, that I've been doing this. But it has gotten me to go outside of my box. We mentioned broadening our horizon earlier, and I played a couple of live shows, so I'm hoping that more of that is to come into the near future. And just the support and the the friendships along the way have really pushed me to this is what I want to be doing. I mean, obviously I have a job, I've got a career, when I'm not doing this. But it's always a dream, I guess, for everyone, really. Like, if that's what you want to do, if you have a passion for it, to continue pushing this, your sound, build up your own sound, use this as a tool for yourself to make this into what you want it to be. And yeah, just hope that is heading all of our way, really.
Would you say
We got a B2B with this guy in real life. Like, we were on some wavelength when we did it at that meetup.
Yeah,
And
I felt like it was
B2B.
it was a culmination of like so many vibes we had before then too, and like just the
Yeah.
anticipation of meeting up and actually being able to B2B and share a deck. I remember I always talk about that one moment we both reached for a shader, a fader, and then we shaders VRChat. Sorry,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
both reached for the fader and like put it down at the same time, and we are like, Yeah, we were like we had that moment where we're in tune and connected, and I really feel like once again, like what Wilda said, if you do it, if you have a passion for it and do it for the love of it, good things will come regardless. Like you just keep pouring that passion and love into whatever you do, whether it be VJing or hosting or world building, avatar creation. It's gonna come to fruition eventually. Somehow, someone's gonna reach out to you and be like, "That was a great set. It changed my perspective of this kind of genre of music," or that was a great event. I would love to come back to this event whenever they can, and so just got to keep doing it for that, just doing it for the love of it and the passion. So eventually I think we both will play live more and have more B2Bs as well.
Exactly.
I think it's a very
Maybe
interesting
November.
takeaway too that we bring it up every so often. The fact that like I got to experience college and what college life was like, being able to party in college and meet your colleagues and stuff like that. What they don't proactively tell you in high school going into college is not only are you working with the rest of these people that you're going to build like lifelong friendships with, but you're also working with people in the same kind of career space that you can kind of lean on, talk to, trade ideas, brainstorm with, and you'll have them for a very, very long time, comparable to whatever type of career that they're in. I'm not saying that VRChat college is a thing, or what we're in a college or something like that, but we're finally beginning to understand that concept of that every friendship that we make in here could have a potential further future applications, of being able to perform or promotion or what have you. And in this particular case, I feel like a lot of people in chat have been already expecting that you guys would already be like singed at the hip, or being on a tandem bicycle ride or sharing a milkshake together or something silly like that. But like at the same time, a B2B is exactly what everyone's been kind of hoping and expecting. But also to make sure you record it, make sure that you take photos, make sure you have video of it, so that way you can say that you've done that before. But also too, we keep talking about that as well. Is just like you will find other people in here in the means. Again, outside of QCC, who knows? But at the same time, this community will bring people together, and it's a very positive thing, regardless if you DJ or not. I've never seen two DJ best friends that will hold hands and go to a rock concert together.
We do it all.
Like
There should be more of that, to be honest.
They're skipping to go see Slayer or Metallica or something. Oh man.
Yeah, I really think like as a DJ, or in the scene of DJs, there sometimes becomes like this kind of like elitism, like which happens with musicians and a bunch of other type of stuff when it comes to skillful doing something skillful. But I really feel that like some of the best people I've met on here and best friends I've established connections with are like-minded DJs and people who I can share my music taste and passion with, and I really think it should be more of that. There should be more of that, more DJs being friends with each other and promoting each other. Like we've gotten each other to play places and played together at places that we talked about, like we wish we could play a year ago, and we've both played there now. And so I really think that kind of bonding experience with other DJs is a powerful thing and should be more celebrated, to be honest.
Has that gotten better? Even just this year alone, do you think?
I would say so. I haven't seen any really negativity this year. I've seen it before in the past, but it seems like it's kind of like fading out. And I just see more support for each other now recently, at least in my case scenario. I can't speak for everyone, but yeah, I have people reaching out willing to help or book or even VJ. Like I had my first VJ the other day, Casperillion, amazing VJ. And I thought about that for a long time, but it's kind of hard. Like, how do you ask somebody? You don't just randomly go up to them, hey, will you VJ for me? I mean, maybe it's that easy, but for some others, maybe, it's a little bit harder. Maybe they're busy or they have a certain kind of like sound that they would like to VJ to. So if you're not fitting in that particular sound, maybe it's not easy for them to want to work with you. But it seems like, yeah, a lot more VJs and DJs are starting to collaborate and help each other more, at least from what I can see.
Again, broken record here for the program, but also too, we are literally a few months away from holiday season, and more events are going to be happening, and more. Again, even talking about New Year's too. Everybody, most DJs, despite the fact that they don't want to play it, want that coveted slot of like New Year's Eve DJ performing in front of a really big crowd, being able to perform and be, put on the best set that they possibly can. But also too, we're here to continuously help each other and promote each other, and being able to do that in this space is so unique in the way that we're constantly doing that. So it's always really good to see it. I'll also throw this as a monkey wrench, just because in the next couple of weeks we'll probably hear it. I know yesterday we all woke up to some strange VTuber news, and we're still trying to digest it. But even through TwitchCon's means and Twitch, even talking about the Twitch DJ program as well, we're constantly talking about it, but that's a good thing. It's always good to be able to, if there is any specific drama or gatekeeping or anything like that, it's important for us to bring it up so we can kind of get a better common ground on it, and get a better grasp on it, as opposed to just, again, we can always be very, be complaining the entire time and just, let that anger out and whatever. But it's also important, it's important to be able to just be upfront about it and be able to talk a little bit about it. So that's super important as well. VRCDJLIVE, we're here with QCC, with WYLDA and GiggleLord and Cruzbot, and we're going to take a little bit of time. I know, again, it's time to talk about it. I know we dislike talking about it, but none of us are really like... we're kind of upset about it, but we don't know what to do with it yet. It's the same thing with the V-Buck system. Is like, it exists. I think a lot of people are hesitant to even start with the V-Buck system to be able to either earn some money or, in this particular case, hashtag tip the DJ is always a very good concept. But the idea of age verification. Now, we've had a couple of groups on here that have explained their type of age verification within their events, how they want to deal with it. I know when it did get released, we were talking about what the struggles could be with age verification, as far as like either minors coming in here or them pretending or lying, and without thinking about some consequences. And even comparable to what we're probably going to openly discuss about too is just the fact that Quest babysitting, and it's not anything that we genuinely want or genuinely, we try to look out for. Again, things happen, we have to move on, and get a basis on that. But I want to kind of look at it through the eyes of QCC on how that you want to have a space for adults. Not a matter of like adults, but like people that are mild-mannered and they're streetwise, book smart at the same time. They can handle themselves without being in the space of minors, I guess, but also providing an environment that is 18 plus, that is an age verification thing. I know earlier on in the week, GiggleLord, you were able to explain it a little bit better as far as like not every event has to be a sexy event. So I want you to kind of talk a little bit about that concept as well, comparable to the 18 plus age verified events that you guys run moving forward.
Oh yeah. Well, first of all, I have no problem talking about this. Though what has happened within the last few months is people going into our general chat to complain about age verification when we do have age verified events. Not a big fan of that. Not a big fan of the pushback on it. But I actually I'm a big personal proponent of it. I guess that's the hill I'm gonna stand on. Basically, since QCC's inception, since I've been on VRChat, I noticed that a lot of people who use Quest standalone headsets of different kinds are minors. And VRChat is at age 13 and up. And sometimes you can even find people younger than 13 on here, like you were saying, Quest babysitting. And that's kind of a problem when you're trying to throw a music event that is 18 and up, that will have drinking, explicit language, maybe explicit themes and language in the music. Maybe some people going harder, using something harder than just alcohol. And I personally don't want children around that. I've worked with children as a profession, and I don't want the children the age who I've worked with to be around the music events that I throw. And several children that I worked with, and I worked with kids as young as 6 years old, would tell me about how they have Quest 3 headsets and that they hop on VR games. And I'm sitting here like, dude, Meta says 10 and up on these headsets. And then they are supposed to heavily restrict it, so that means their parents. It starts with the parents, really. But so parents aren't doing their job. VRChat's 13 and up with people younger than that in here. So what's stopping someone from walking into our music events? Well, in the past, what we would just do is group plus. That means that people who are a part of the group and their friends would join. But who's to say someone's friend, a friend, a friend, a friend, a friend isn't a minor? And that's the problem with that. Age verification basically solves that for the most part. Can people fake age verification? Sure. Are they likely to? I think far less likely. Also because it costs money. So they need to have credit cards set up on their headset, paying a month of VRChat Plus, and then getting an adult to fake age verification for them. That's a lot of steps for a minor to step through. If you're already at that point, I feel like that's kind of akin to someone in an IRL club getting a fake ID. Does that mean that IRL clubs should stop IDing at the door because sometimes people are using a fake ID or using their older brother's ID? No, of course not. The ID at the door is working 99% of the time, just like how age verification for our events is working 99% of the time. I would say our age verified lobbies are great when we run events. Less trolls, no crashers. Everyone there is an adult. The atmosphere is more mature and more adult, and it also gives us more creative expression. To be blunt, people will pull out little prints or more explicit emojis or stickers or whatever I've noticed in these 18 and up events. Because they know they can say these things because they're pretty sure there's not a 16-year-old pretending to be an 18-year-old in the party. And now, here's the problem. Age verification costs money. You have to show your face and your ID to a, basically like robot AI software. And a lot of people are not comfortable with that. Cool. Age verification's optional, and you can just miss out on a lot of the events. I would say on weekends, it's almost a fifth. Maybe going into a fourth of the events I'm noticing are now age verified. At least when I scroll through my own group menu and seeing where my friends are at. In VRChat, I'm noticing they're all age verified events. So they're missing out, the adults who don't want to age verify. Totally their choice, though. I do understand a privacy aspect of it. I think that I don't know super about the technicalities of it. I'm not a coder or someone working on this myself. But basically the way VRChat's done it, it's almost unhackable. Hard to fake unless you have an adult do it for you. It's really a responsible parent. Like, I don't really know what to say. Our New Year's event is going to be our first age verified New Year's, and I am so looking forward to it. Because like you were saying, these kids are going to be activating their brand new Quest 3s and Quest 3Ss, and they're going to see a really popular event. Sometimes our event has ended up on the popular tabs before, especially when we do an event with his group in his world as a collaboration. We've ended up on that popular world tab. So that's right where the kids can see it and click it. What if it's age verified? Instead, they can't click it, they can't access. I love the sound of that. I don't want to expose kids to what some of the people in my community do and say as adults. There's there's a time and a place.
It's interesting that you're able to bring that up, and that's something that I personally haven't seen. Again, I'm an adult, so I don't need to. I've already age verified. I'm already there, so I don't have to worry about kids or doing all that sort of stuff. But there is a soft spot in my heart for, like, again, for those that are 17 going on 18, where they have to wait that other year to get up to 18 plus to kind of be able to experience an 18 plus something.
Hmm.
But I know earlier on at the beginning of this week, we were talking a little bit about um, how when you do turn 18, it seems like everyone underneath you is a baby. So you just kind of ignore them. And the same thing goes when you're going from 18 to 21, is that as soon as you turn 21, oh, forget everybody that's underneath 21. Those are all babies. I
Hmm.
shouldn't have to deal with them. Outside of all of the everything of, like, don't talk to a minor. The way I see it is you could talk to minors, just not in that way. Like,
Yes.
you can be a human and talk to minors, and that's perfectly fine. You're not going to jail. But unless, like, you're hanging out with minors all the time, then, well, maybe you need some adult friends and go hang out with some adults. Um, but the idea of that age verification thing in VR, and hearing it from you saying about a quarter of that are age verified, again, that's a safety precaution for those people that want to come in and let loose and be able to do the
Oh
things that they
yeah.
do, without even kind of going into the idea of um, power move of, oh my gosh, I've been drinking. I'm drinking. I'm running around telling everybody that I'm drinking. Again, as an adult, not every adult does that. I mean, unless you're really drinking and you're out with your
Hmm.
buddies and you're being silly. But I feel like there's some sort of a verification that you're doing that. Like, okay, we get it. You're drinking, or you're doing some sort of a narcotic or something, and you're running around doing that. But even in those age verified instances, that's almost kind of lining it up by saying, I'm an adult. I'm adult. I'm not just three kids in a trench coat. Um,
Hmm.
just kind of experiencing that. But there's still that weird kind of like, as soon as you turn 18, then you can go to the 18 plus events and that you get to enjoy them. So the people that are 18 are kind of feeding into that idea. Is that kind of where I'm heading with that, is from what you've been seeing, some of these events claiming their verification based off that concept that, like, it always has to be sexy, it always has to have nudity, it always has to have adult theming to it?
I mean, I disagree. I have noticed there's a big uptick on events that'll say on their posters or on their advertising for the event. They'll say 18 plus verified, but safe for work. SFW, because they want to clarify, because I think some people have in their head a perception that these 18 and up events are not safe for work. And that's not inherently the case. I would actually say most of them are still safe for work, and they're operating identically to how they did before age verification, which was, it's mostly adults in the lobby. It's people drinking and partying, whatever the culture is in that group. And they just want to basically, like, embody a mature atmosphere. And they just are using the 18 plus verification as a precaution. I would say that it's more crucial actually to use age verified instances. This is, again, my opinion, and not everyone, probably not even everyone here shares this exact opinion. But to be blunt, a quest is cheaper, it's easier to attain, and it is in part marketed towards teens and children. Um, and because of that, parents buy them for their kids. And because of that, there is a larger ratio. I don't know what the numbers are, but there's a larger ratio of people who are minors, who are on Quest standalone than people who are on PCVR. Now, there's also this perception that if you're on PCVR, that you have to be an adult, which is total crap. I have met probably more than a dozen minors that were on PCVR, and I've met a small handful that had full body setups and everything. And I found out later they were 16 or 17. And I was like, "What? They're just rich kids. They're rich teens." And their parents bought this whole setup for them. So they have the whole setup that you would think that only an adult would be able to afford. So anyone, it's the age verification makes it so you're not like, wait, are you a minor? Are you a minor? Like distrustful of everyone who's joining your event thinking they're pretending to be an adult. Um, it's just it's one less thing, I guess, that you have to moderate. I've also noticed a lot of people who are trolls and crashers are not going to bother with buying a month of VRChat Plus and putting their and sending and verifying with their ID and their face and everything just to go and crash. So it actually unintentionally works also as crasher protection and troll protection to have an age verified instance as well. Strangely enough.
That's a really good thing to think about too. I would have never really considered that as an option. I know a lot of clubs and groups are always looking for ways of having more people to come in to experience what we've got in here and be able to limit trolls, as you said, and limit the kids. While also keeping it a place that's not sexy all the time, for it's safe for work. All of those concepts are important, and they're important for us to get an understanding of and remember. I'm gonna volley it back to you and say, if we were gonna use that concept, because it's a powerful concept, I think that works out really well. I think a lot of people use the age verification incorrectly. I think that they're using it in a sense of, again, oh, I'm an 18-year-old adult, I'm a 21-year-old adult, I'm going to just run around buck naked, do what I want, which I don't know too many other 21-year-olds that do that. How can we, I'm trying to find the words for it. How can we better showcase that concept that you just explained of being able to push away the trolls and, trying to limit the amount of minors that are coming in based off of fake age verification while also presenting age verification in a more positive light? What do you think that's something that we should be proactively doing as a community going into the new year that we can benefit to boost those numbers?
I would just highlight a mature atmosphere in the instances. Again, most of them are safe for work. It's mostly just for maturity and for an assurance that there's not minors in your instance. I would also highlight that some people complain about the cost. Oh my gosh, age verification is behind a paywall. Well, it's behind a paywall because it costs VRChat to age verify per person. So they're not going to bite the whole cost. So you need a month of VRChat Plus. I would argue, and this was a point we were kind of touching on earlier about how good some DJs are in here. That's $10 USD, might cost a lot more with regional pricing, which is one problem with age verification. I guess it could be very expensive for some people overseas or not available in their countries. But if it is, and if it's affordable for you, that is a lot cheaper than an IRL music event. Look, you've already bought the headset, probably, or the desktop computer. Maybe you have both, or a laptop. Maybe you have a whole PCVR setup. What's another $10? That is so much cheaper than these IRL music events, and I have heard DJs in here, I would say some DJs that I've scheduled on our lineups that are better than I've heard headlining festivals IRL. That's it. That's it. That's where I'd leave it.
But when it comes to and again, I'm just trying to feed into this because I'm just looking at every avenue available. The fact that this concept, again, I would love to try to implement this concept as much as possible. I think it's a good idea, and I think people need to get their mind in that idea of you can age verify not only over the fact that you have to be a certain age, I know one of the things I've been kind of dealing with the past couple of years is I put on a show at TwitchCon, but I always have to have it at 21 plus because they're selling liquor and
Ah.
and alcohol. And it's not that I don't want minors there or people that are under 21. I want it to be all ages, but because they're serving alcohol, I can't have anybody underneath that. So that sucks for me because there's some people that express that idea of being like, well, I'm 20 now, and I'll be 21 a day after, and I'm just like, I'm sorry, like, if I wish I could plan around your birthday, it would make a little bit more sense. But even that conversation's a little bruised. So getting that back into the topic of that idea is like right now people are kind of experimenting with age verification. I think they're kind of using it, but they're not using it the way that you've described it, which I would love for them to start doing in the new year and get a better understanding of being able to explain it better, instead of it just being like, oh, it's a sexy adult party or whatever. But the other side of it is it's going to bruise the communication of those people that want to be a part of that, but they're not old enough. So where would you want to see if let's just say in a perfect world in 2026, we'll be able to implement age verification the way that you were able to describe it, and people were perfectly okay with that. And it's salted this conversation with people that are just barely under that marker. Do you think that there are more people under a specific age that will go on social media and be upset over that concept compared to the people that are of age that are enjoying the concept?
Oh yeah, it's always that the critics are so much louder than the proponents. And that's why honestly, like some people might even be um giving me shit about this later or whatever, because I have some friends that won't age verify for whatever. They all have different reasons, privacy and so on. Um or they refuse to use it for their instances for one reason or another. But it's always that the critics are so much louder than the proponents of it. And honestly, that's fine. I'm of the opinion that if I run an age verified event and my turnout is half as big as if it wasn't age verified and everything else was the same, I'm fine with it. Um, Other communities are not, and the numbers are important. That exposure is really important to the DJs. And I also at the same time don't want to take that away from them. I This is why all of our events aren't age verified, because some of our collaborators aren't doing age verified events and some insist upon them. And that's where it is now. And so if I had my way, I would do 100% of our events age verified. It's not really realistic because this is kind of just been introduced and it's still being tested and it's still being worked on. And there have been some people that have gotten around it. Of course, you just report them and hope that, moderators take care of it. And you ban them from your community. But I've even noticed, like, I don't have to ban as many minors because I'm not running events where minors can get in. It takes the onus off of the clubs, and off of the club owners in trying to keep everything, like PG-13, and trying to keep everything perfect and trying to keep everything like TOS, and people coming in and trying to film expose videos about how minors can access VR strip clubs and so on and so forth. And instead, it goes to, well, that won't happen anymore. There's an age verified instance. I don't know. It's something to think about. I'm definitely looking forward to the future of it, but I also I wish that it was free, so people who are new to VRChat, trying it out the first few days, and aren't sure if they want to continue to use VRChat can immediately have, who are adults, can immediately have that age verification. I do feel like I'm locking out some newcomers and our community is newcomer friendly. I have noticed in some of our last few events, there's a big uptick on newcomers who are age verifying is one of the first things they do. I'm seeing new users who are age verified, and I'm like, yeah, you go, like that encourages me. And but I get discouraged when people say, well, I'm never going to come to one of your events again. It's like, whoa. Like, and you've been coming for years. I mean, I don't know.
It's just, it's all weird, cracked out hypotheticals in this scenario. And as much as I would love to get an actual result or response, that's something that we can feed off of and then get something that we can use in the future, we all don't know. You know, we're all kind of having these open that's the reason why we're having these open conversations about it, is because we all have our own take on it, and we have our own version of what those events are looking for. And even the heavier adult themed events, and I'm not going to be able to make some examples right now, because as soon as I do, there'll be one club that's like featured in it being like, how dare you talk about us? And I'm like, I didn't even know you guys existed. Like, where have you been? But at the same time, you know, that's something to kind of keep in mind too. And the reason why I'm throwing these hypotheticals at you is I feel like it's kind of a flavor of the month, where you know, for a couple of months we'd be heavily into age verification, and then the next couple of months we'll be like, well, this is kind of boring because either people aren't coming to the shows, or not enough people are coming to the shows, or they're just not as popular as before, so maybe we should get rid of the age verification. Or even more so, do I dare say, open it up to all ages and be able to invite as many people as we want, because in proper fashion, VRChat is meant to be a simulation, social simulation, where you can chat with people, you know, outside of all of that. But I think also too that there's a group of 21-year-old people that they instantly believe that talking to a minor is wrong, just because of the hyperfixation on it, of the fact that it's like, well, if you talk to a minor, then, you know, was it Chris Hansen will be coming knocking on your door and being like, well, you just talked to a minor. And that's not the case. You know, like they want conversation as much as you do. And even your younger self has always wanted that type of interaction, you know, at any point in time as well. Obviously, if you want to become a DJ and you're 12 years old or 13 years old and you want to talk to the DJs, talk to the DJs. But no ooh woo oh whoa, ara ara. There's no room for that. Just be honest with all the things that you kind of talk about. I want to open this up now. I want your funny takes on this, because we don't talk enough about it. And wouldn't you have it, as we've said before, headsets are coming out, holidays are coming out. I want to bring up club etiquette. I want to be able to bring up I want your opinions on it. Obviously, we do get some new users that come in, and maybe they haven't been to a club before, or they don't know that they can't talk, or they can't talk to the DJs, or maybe they don't know what. I'm trying to think of some other silly things that people have done before. Maybe wear avatars that are really overexposed, or have light sources or something like that. Talk to us a little bit about Club Etiquette 101, and what do you think? What have been some horror stories that you guys have seen so far in QCC that you'd love to share with us?
I have one that I've seen kind of often recently, and I'm not sure why this is a thing. If this offends those people, I'm sorry. But I see some people coming into clubs and just turning off the music from the DJ and just listening to their own music. And as far as etiquette goes, I think that's kind of disrespectful, because the whole event's there, so the DJ can show their stuff and perform for you. And if you come in and just turn them off and listen to your own music, it's kind of like, I think it's, in a way, not cool, because everyone's putting in their hard work to make this event happen, and the DJs make the set happen and play. And if you come in and just pretend that's not even a thing and just kind of do your own thing, I don't know, some part of that seems kind of wrong to me. I mean, to each his own. Maybe that music is not something you like, but usually, for me at least, if it's not something I'm into, I'll just, find another space, or I'll leave the music on. Maybe I won't be on the dance floor, but I'll definitely leave it on to respect the fact that a DJ is playing live right now.
That's pretty good.
I completely agree with that. It's kind of like, well, then why are you there? Um, Especially if it's a super busy event with like a queue or something, like why not give that spot to someone who's like really pumped about that genre and wants to be there to
Exactly.
dance and everything. Um, God, I completely agree with that. To piggyback off of that, there's an even worse version of that because I think that's okay if you're doing it silently and just pretending that you're partying along with everyone else and
Yeah,
you're
to each
still
his
being
own at the end of the day for
respectful
that.
and a
Yeah.
good vibe. But what's even worse is when people have the big um OBS, the big, what is it? The big chat box. OSC. There we go. Sorry, wrong acronym. The big OSC chat box over their head that says, "I'm listening to," like a totally different music, and it shows that it's playing. That is the most disrespectful thing that I've seen in a club. Could you imagine like walking in with a giant sign, like a giant electronic sign showing what you're listening to on your cell phone with your earbuds in when you go to like an IRL festival? Like that's just how
Is
bizarre.
that just a way for like people to know what they're feeling without actually going up to them and asking how they're feeling?
Yes.
Is that
Yeah.
really the only reason behind that?
Yeah, well, I've seen some people who are like DJs, for example. They might say, or dancers, they might put something up in the status, like I'm accepting bookings or whatever. But I'm sitting here like I play VR chat for the immersion, and I leave nameplates off. I have everyone's nameplates off right now, for example, because I want to recognize and see and feel everyone as if they're people here. Um, and so when I see that chat box up there literally blocking my view of a venue, it is ruining my immersion as well. And the first thing I'm going to do is turn it off. And if it's a QCC event, especially at one of our home worlds, and one of our instances, I'm gonna walk up to that person and ask them to shut it off. Most of the time they say yes, and they know why I'm asking it. Um, but sometimes they don't even understand why, and there's not really like an understanding of the social etiquette um of that. They leave their nameplates on all the time in an 80-person instance, and so they must just see a giant wall of nameplates over the dance floor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. That's not how a lot of people enjoy VR chat. I don't know.
How do you think we can we'll get to Wilda's answer too. How um how do you think we should be able to deal with the constant trend of ERP at the club? Because I feel like it's been getting a little bit popular recently. Not only just like sexy dancing, grinding, but like obviously if you're in the moment, sure. But I've had it far too many times where even I have been experiencing it while I'm DJing, and they're literally in front of me, like making all sorts of noises. How do you think that, as maybe even as a club owner, how you would be able to handle something like that?
Maybe it's because we're in Quest compatible instances, but it's only been twice at least that I've caught where people were ERPing in our instances and we just asked them to stop and then they stopped. And one time I just told them to go to a different world and they dropped a portal right there on the dance floor and then ran into it. And that was the only acceptable case I think of, okay, whatever, drop a portal, get out of here. Leave.
Just
Um,
go.
just leave. Okay,
Do you think
whatever.
it'd be funnier if we asked them to change avatars into like something funny like the hot dog or like
Oh,
the milk
that's
carton or something?
what is funny is one of those instances is I did see their fallbacks and I never turned their avatars on, but it was
Oh no.
two femboys and it was a hot dog and
Oh my
some
gosh.
other
That would have made my night if I've seen like two hot dogs and like there being ERP and be like, oh, rub your mustard on me. Oh, you better catch up. And I wish VRChat would be that funny.
Yeah, jeez. No, but going with that, I would say that's another really common etiquette is in general, don't drop portals at live DJ music events. And I keep seeing this for people who have been around for years attending these music events. And I would think that they would know better, but maybe I haven't yelled at them enough about it yet. Like, is what I think in the back of my mind. That's a joke. I don't yell at people. But like, it's especially I keep seeing as this DJ community is getting larger and as we're getting more and more attendees, the etiquette's going real lax on a lot of things. People coming in with atrociously performing avatars and crashing their friends. See it all the time. I'm a victim of it. Like, I leave my friends' avatars on. Whoops. And portals right in the middle of the dance floor. Get out of here with that stuff. If you must drop a portal, it needs to be out of view of the DJ, away from the dance floor at like the spawn area. And if there's not a spawn area and there's nowhere to drop a portal that's not way off, don't drop one. Go to the other world and then invite your friends there. It's that simple. The portal communicates to everyone, hey, this DJ's lame, I'm going somewhere else, and all of you should join me. And the portal is encouraging people to come. If you're on a low-end PC or if you're on like a older Quest, that portal can also lag you. Especially if people drop a bunch of them, you can lag people with your portal. You can lag people severely with your avatars. I don't know why people keep running in with avatars with crazy amounts of lights and like 1 million polygons and stuff lately into clubs too. I get like poorer better is lame. But at least have like an optimized-ish, like very poor avatar. Like, why does it need to be so atrociously optimized? I think that one's just ignorance. I think a lot of these are just ignorance, and these aren't being spelled out for people. And when they are spelled out on a wall, people are going, that's a lot of words. Too bad I'm not reading them.
Yeah,
You know,
and at least
yeah.
have some sort of consequence of maybe even getting kicked out of that club or something, getting club
Yeah,
or
and
the
then,
group
and
or
then
something.
Yeah, but then that hurts attendance if you're known as a club that has really strict rules and you kick out people all the time. So if you're already struggling for numbers, either because of the night, there's too oversaturated, too many events that night, or what we were saying, your event's age verified, so your numbers are cut down somewhat, or something like that. And are you really going to start running up to people and being like, hey, your million polygon monster avatar is lagging the shit out of everyone around you. I don't know if you know, but you're gonna have to swap it. And they're like, no. Okay, leave. And then there's one less person at your, that's a lot of like animosity. It's just always a struggle. These are things that I think that are always a struggle with every community. On VRChat, deciding if you should enforce avatar performance, if you should not. If you do consistently and someone new joins, you're going to have to educate them on it if they're a new user, or they just know to never come to your club. And some people will just straight up refuse. I go to some clubs and every single person in there is a very poor avatar, and so I have almost all of them off, and that's not immersive for me. Personally, to see everyone as like the little pixelated imposters.
Right.
It's not cool. I mean, I don't know. I don't like looking at 5 people in VRChat, but maybe that's just me.
But being able to identify all that too is important, especially as we are moving forward in those couple of months to, because again, at some point in time, if let's just say somebody is looking for a Quest compatible community, to search for it up on YouTube, and once this video is up there, and they're gonna be like, wow, maybe I should take these steps to do the thing, so that way I don't have to either get kicked out or banned or something like that. Will, did you have something that you wanted to?
sorry to interrupt. It's being considerate of your fellow ravers and just educating yourself on what that is.
And just
I would love to hear Wilda's take on this.
and
What were
also
you gonna
too
say?
the fact too that like I don't know, again, this is club etiquette not just for VR, but like you are learning how to go to an actual club. If you believe that you're important enough to be at that club and they still don't know who you are, maybe you need to take a step back and remember who you are compared to you trying to be somebody that you're not supposed to be. Or even going to the club and like you're like, well, this isn't anything like a VR chat club, and be like, no, yeah, absolutely not. You have to spend money at the bar and buy drinks, and you also have to be on your best behavior. And again, you can't just be running around screaming obscenities like you would in a public instance, I suppose. Wilda, what did you have to say about that?
Don't take too long after your set finishes. Like if you're late going into your set, like however long however long you're late, like going into your set, the whole thing's behind schedule, that's fine. But honestly, that's not really like too much of a problem, like across the board. A lot of people are pretty good with their timing.
No, I hate
don't
that,
get don't get into very big avatars that block the whole view. That's one that I'd been seeing recently.
Yes.
That event I did, the experimental base set. Before I went on during Protos, I saw someone very big, like
Yeah.
the whole thing all the way to the
Yeah.
roof. And I was like,
that was
yo,
one of our friends, and he knew better. A lot of the time, these people know
oh,
better,
my
and they're
bad.
just.
I didn't mean,
What
I'm
is
not
this?
trying to call anyone. I didn't know who it was.
It's all good.
But,
It's all good. It's all good. No, it's one of our friends, and he knows better. I think he was just being really goofy at the moment. Maybe
Probably.
I don't know. Maybe he was faded. I don't
Uh,
really know. But no, I like play spaced up to him, and I'm like, "Hi, can you get smaller, please? You're like blocking everyone's view." And he's like, "Oh yeah."
I was
Like a
trying to
lot of
watch Proto.
a lot of the time, it's like a lack of awareness, and I try to be gentle with people. Like that's another one that I ran into at your event that I was up way too late at on Tuesday night, going into early
Yep.
Wednesday morning. There were some new people, and a few of them were on Quest, and a few of them were on desktop, and they were all friends with each other. And particularly the people on desktop kept taking their avatar and running it through other people. That's another, I would say, club etiquette thing that you want to probably avoid, because it, particularly for people who are in VR, your view comes out of here, and if you suddenly have a body or blocking your view or in your face, you have to literally move your head like out of the way and get out of their way, and you can't see. It can be at on the one end mildly annoying. You just move away or whatever and ask them, excuse me. A lot of time like, oh shit, I'm sorry. All the way to it can be like disturbing and shocking, like for some people. So probably like try to maintain personal space, and that comes with time and skill and personal like space and awareness.
I think they're saying what Wilda was
Yeah.
saying about the whole like respecting the DJ time too. Like I dislike that. I can't say I hate it, but I dislike it when it's like, yeah, if you're behind 12 minutes and then the DJ ahead of you is again feeding into that by going over 12 minutes, you're just like
Yeah.
I understand that you want to play all your music, but as a DJ you should be skilled enough to know to get out on time.
Yeah. And, a general rule of thumb, like couple minutes, 3 minutes, fine. That's fine. Like, if you're playing out your last track, most people are totally cool with that. 5 minutes, probably where you draw the line, right? It's like, hey, let's get this going. You know what I mean? Also, resetting the EQ knobs after each DJ. Like, make sure you do that.
Oh yeah, yeah. In a lot of these worlds, they have they have
I'll
a
tap joke.
big they have a big audio link panel of some sort that controls the lighting. It's reactive to lighting, and every DJ might be playing a different genre, or they might have louder or quieter music, and so one big bassy DJ who was maxing all of these, so they got turned to less sensitive. The next DJ goes on, the lights won't even go off. You're like, oh, wait a second. Like, you either someone who's staff or the next DJ, whoever touched it last, really, should fix it for the next DJ if it's not automatic, or at least go and hit that automatic button again. So it's somewhere in the middle. Nothing worse than all the lights suddenly not firing for the first 10 minutes of the next DJ's
I mean,
set
that
'cause you
is a
forgot to
product
reset
of,
something.
oh, it's too hot, turn up the cold. It's too cold, turn up the hot. Too hot,
Exactly.
too cold. And that's
Hey,
oof.
Precisely.
I don't have that problem in my world. My audio link panel disappears, remember?
Oh yeah.
I'm so bad at creating world. My audio link panel, I don't know why, for whatever reason, I move it, or I'm running around with it, and all of a sudden it just disappears out of my hand and it's gone. It's like,
Oh,
and you can
no.
find it if you just try to like grab in the air, like this invisible thing. But yeah, don't have that problem if you don't have one, right? So
Nope.
It's only a problem when it becomes even more of a problem, that's for sure. VRC DJ Live, we're just coming up on the other side of the 2-hour mark. We just already went through 2 hours of content here. So I want to make sure that we have plenty of time to kind of hit just a couple of extra things before we wrap up today. And I want to talk a little bit about your event going on tomorrow. And even bringing up the fact that you guys just don't stop. You know, every time I go to the timeline, there is some form of a QCC event going on at some point in time. But be able to explain what we got going on tomorrow, and also get to explain a little bit about what you got going on for the rest of the year.
Sure, gladly. I'll let both of them also follow up because they're actually both on the lineup tomorrow as well. Um, Sometimes we do these big, giant, long events with with European communities. So a lot of European communities, they party let me think, 4 to 7 hours before we start our parties, because of time zones. And so to compromise with that, a lot of the time when we do collaborate with them, we'll start much earlier in the day and then do a super long event. And so we're actually collaborating with Eurocorp tomorrow. I probably won't be able to be there for most of the first part of the lineup because I work tomorrow. It's a Friday. Whoops.
same.
Yeah, but basically, randomly, maybe 8 months ago, a nice man named Dante reached out to our group and said, "Hey, I'm building an exact replica of the Tron Legacy Club called the End of Line Club. Does your community want to come out, do a pop-up and test it for people on Quest and give me feedback?" And so we did that. And we've done a few events in the world since, or provided DJs for other events in it since. And tomorrow's event is going to have a full recolor, like Dante's calling a reskin of the world, instead of the blue teal Tron color. It's instead going to be blood red for the Tron Ares movie that released today, depending upon where you live. And so we have 5 hours of DJs from Eurocorp, followed up by 5 hours of DJs from QCC. It's going to be bass music, some techno, some industrial. 9 Inch Nails is on the soundtrack, doing kind of like their typical thing, but mid-tempo bassier. It's kind of cool. And so music kind of around that, we deliberately kept it a little more open genre. There'll be a good amount of drum and bass. It's going to be delightful. Basically, regardless of the time zone you're in tomorrow, and regardless of if you're on PC or Quest or even an Android cell phone, you should be able to attend either the Eurocorp instance or our instance of tomorrow's party. I'm elated about it.
It all sounds really
Are you-
fun too, especially because of the fact that everyone's always looking for something fun to do, and having 10 hours of DJs, you already know that you're going to want to. And of course, Eurocore always delivering some of the best DJs as well. being on that entire lineup. You don't really want to miss out on that. Obviously, if you're watching on YouTube, I'm sorry.
It's already passed.
That's already passed. But even though that's already passed, again, let's recap again about what New Year's Eve is looking for you guys, and just even thinking about New Year's Eve and getting that kind of prepared early enough to be able to tell people a little bit about what you got going on. Maybe give us a little bit of a teaser of what you got going on for that.
Well, I can definitely tease it, but we actually haven't started the planning for it yet. We're working on ideas. Like I was saying earlier, it's going to be at Cruise's venue, Midhaven, and it'll be our first 18 plus age verified New Year's party. Our New Year's parties usually go really hard. They're usually our busiest event of the year, or that's at least something that we're running. I was hoping to collaborate with his group, collaborate with a few other big name groups and DJs in VRChat this year. Maybe bring out some more dancer groups that we've worked with in this last year. Make it a nice big affair. Another idea that's been tossed around that I want to get everyone's feedback on is I'm going to ask our resident DJs, so that'll probably comprise the majority of the lineup, will be our resident DJs for this event. I wanted to ask their feedback and the staff's feedback on a charity, because this event normally goes so well. And we have so many people come out. In the past, we've done a few charity events, really simple. We just get a little Tiltify QR code. People scan and they donate, no pressure to, and the DJs can throw it up in their visual somewhere in the corner so it can be scanned in world. Easy. Anyone who cross streams to Twitch can also post about it in their Twitch or put it on the little tag on their Twitch overlay. However they feel comfortable doing it. I don't want to make it a big huge feature of the event and interrupting the event constantly to talk about the charity, but it's just something that's important to me. Give back some.
And even seeing a lot of those groups do that too. I want that to be. I want people to start doing that at least once a year. To be able to not only give back to the community with DJing and doing it for free and exposure and stuff like that, but continue to provide for even new users and a better understanding of what we got in here, as opposed to just a sandbox game. Before we get to the end of the show, what are your hopes and dreams for QCC in the new year? What do you hope to do in 2026 that you haven't done so far yet this year?
Another portal event.
Take over the world.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that.
Yes.
And that too.
Take over the world. Geez. No, definitely we want to do another portal event. We're actually hoping sometime soonish. Spoiler, I guess. We might be doing B2B things, and other IRL events. I would love to expand upon that. And for us to go to festivals, IRL, and do more meetups that are based around that. We have friends that live close to Red Rocks. We have friends that live close to the Gorge up in Washington. Why not enjoy what we already enjoy? Beautiful music events, attend those IRL, but then also wrap that up into what we're doing here in QCC. Just have that continuous inspiration. And travel. I mean, I love traveling, and by the very nature of us knowing all of these people from all over the world, we can go and meet up with them.
You ever considered kind of like a Pokemon Go thing where you just find an empty field and then you just let everyone run around with their Quest headsets on, with like a Wi-Fi signal or something, and have a virtual concert in the middle of a field?
Funny. There's an event going on this weekend that is that way.
Oh man. Listen,
called
I've already
Detour.
seen. I've been to an anime convention a couple of years back, and I parked in the parking garage, and there was somebody playing Beat Saber in the back of their car on their Quest 3, and I was just like, I knew what they were doing, but if anybody else walked past and they saw what they were doing, they were, obviously asking the questions.
That's hilarious.
But I mean, hey,
Um,
that's the future, right?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you can play Beat Saber anywhere. I love that game. That's Beat Saber is what got me into VR, not VR chat.
Oh,
Yeah, everybody's.
I would actually say the same. I got a VR headset so I could play Beat Saber. I'm a huge rhythm game fan. I love Dance Dance Revolution. I was like, oh, just it's the same thing except with your arms instead of your
Yep.
legs,
Yep.
and
Same.
yeah, and I guess that led to all
Actually,
this too.
Until you're
I
standing
have
in
a
your
goal.
room and then you're on top of that platform and you're looking over, going, "Oh, am I really up there?"
I have a goal for you and I. Let's go to an arcade and play DDR together.
Oh, that's 100% gonna happen for sure.
Yes.
Probably the weekend we meet up for ShelterCon. We'll get that in. I'm
there we
sure we
go.
can
Yeah.
find a place.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
whole thing. We're gonna meet up at ShelterCon.
Oh, perfect.
we're big fans of that group and whatnot too.
I'm sure we're gonna have to
Um,
hear a lot about it too.
oh yeah. What do you what I mean what do you want us to do with QCC? You have your own group, Rave, now. What do you want to do with your group? I know we have a lot of
W-
partner groups, so it's relevant.
yeah, I mean, I'm still wanting to grow it. Like I'm still trying to figure out like the solid direction that I want to go with it. Because that group was like, I repurposed it into the rave group for VR chat when it was originally like my Discord group for my stream. It
Yeah.
just said Wilda.
Yeah.
So and the main reason I did that was because I felt there's at least quite a bit of a community around the events in VR chat that I was doing. So I kind of wanted to shift it more towards them. So now the direction that I'd want to see it, I don't know really. I mean, it's all up in the air. I do want to get better at world creating. Try to find those new experiences that I can um, show to people. It's kind of it. Just keep growing from there.
Yeah.
Yeah. For QCC, I want to see you've been doing all these more curated events lately, and I've been loving it. So like I love those things.
Okay, good. Good.
It's really
I
good.
love that feedback.
Yeah, that's I mean what you and Cruz are doing, and everyone else staff there, like A1. So I'm glad that you guys are doing that.
Thank you, homie.
Hell
Appreciate
yeah,
you.
brother.
Hey.
Appreciate you.
See, I like seeing groups that like each other. It
I hate these people.
Yeah, I was gonna say it would break my heart a little bit if like like we're done
Ryan!
with the conversation and then you all just part because you're just like, all right, we'll forget you guys. We'll talk to you guys later at some point in time. So as we're kind of wrapping up the program here, we do have a couple of rapid fire questions that we love to ask our guests every show. So keep in mind it's rapid fire, so try to keep your answers short and to the point.
I'm not good at that, but I'll try.
Yeah, I was gonna say we've had a couple of people on the program, and I'm just like, you answered this in 5 minutes, and I'm just like, oh, that's not a rapid fire at all. Out of everything that we've kind of talked about tonight, between age verification and ideas for Quest users and people that are just starting, what's a good word of advice that you can give to anybody that's watching this program right now, even wanting to come into the VR scene?
Well, find your groups, find your people. The best way to connect with people on VRChat is groups. And I strongly recommend basically researching about VRChat, technically, etiquette, culture, and if you can find someone who's kind of a mentor. I've had a few mentors in VRChat. Shout out to Dill. Um, Shout out to Rue, like a few other people. Um, they can basically teach you the ropes. And you can learn a lot of things and learn how learn to figure out what you like. how to be the best digital citizen.
Nice.
This one's for the DJs out there trying to get into this and find their groups as well and get familiarized with the VR DJ scene. Just do what you love. I can't stress that more than what I've said before. Just do what you love. Play the music you want to play. Find your niche. Find your style. Find the group that respects that and appreciates it. And everything from there will just click into place.
What about you, Wilda?
Oh, man. Oh, hold on. My headset just died. This is not a joke. 1 second.
This is not a drill.
It's real quick.
Now everybody's on the edge of their seats waiting for
Doesn't look like it died.
Maybe his
Okay.
Oh,
No,
she's-
I'm good now. I had to plug
Okay.
in my gaming headset.
Yeah,
No,
right
this
at-
time I'm
right at
never
the
gonna
right
make it.
moment,
I'm not
yo.
gonna make it
That's
again.
insane.
I'm not gonna make it.
I would say, like, to echo off of Cruz, do what you love. Don't be scared. I know it's like maybe intimidating coming into it, right? But if you show up and do your thing, and everyone's finding their own groups of people, yeah, just don't be scared to do what you want to do. It doesn't even have to be DJing. It could be anything really, but yeah.
Yeah, and also find the time to be able to talk to everybody and maybe learn a little bit of a skill. That's always a
Yeah, the
positive
social
thing, too.
part is honestly pretty important too.
That's the hardest part of VR chat, in my opinion. Even though we're here to chat, a lot of people are having a hard time being social.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
for sure.
social awkwardness is real.
Yeah.
There's so many skills though that you can learn just piggybacking off of that. I know people that learn how to run movie watching groups like in here. You can do all sorts of things in here.
Yeah.
Just find your niche basically.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to be about music. It can be
Mhm.
other things, yeah.
Dancing, singing, performing. I've seen a little bit of all of it, to be honest. Bringing up the Christmas thing, yeah, I don't think I've ever heard anybody play a Christmas DJ set per se, but around Christmas time, I actually have joined worlds where people are singing Christmas like songs and just
Mhm.
singing them out, and I find that really like admirable that like this place can offer, somewhere where you can dance and sing and DJ and perform music. And yeah, I think that's what everyone should remember getting into this, is there is a place for you to do that here.
I honestly thought that you were going to bring up the whole Mariah Carey thing again, so I'm glad that you kind of dodged that a little bit, yeah.
She still needs to thaw.
Yeah,
It's not ready yet.
She's not ready yet. Speaking of Mariah Carey, what are a couple of the musical artists that you guys have been listening to on Spotify recently that we can kind of get to know?
I got this one. So the 3 DJs that I listen to the most, at least as of the last year or 2 years or so, number 1, Hamdi. He's from the UK. I've seen him like 4 or 5 times live. Super inspired by him. I just saw him like a couple weekends ago. Fire DJ set, every single one I've ever seen. Second one, Taiki New Light. Another great, started as a bass house type DJ and now is doing bass music and dubstep 140 stuff. And his style is just phenomenal. I got to stand right behind him actually at a free show he did in LA and just watch him do his thing. And it was super inspirational. I usually go to live shows to learn. And then for the third, I'm always going to have to give a shout out to 2TD. I love everything he produces, all the stuff he works on. He's drops a new track every couple weeks and has been doing that for years. So constantly looking forward to anything he throws out. He's a great DJ. Seems like a great guy. I've met him a couple times. And yeah, I appreciate what Shelter and he does for the community. Really.
Cool.
Honestly, I have a very eclectic music taste. This is part of why I haven't started DJing yet. I don't have a niche. But I can think of 2 artists I've seen IRL, or one's artist group. I've seen Dorian Electra. They're wild vocals, like a whole dance performance while they're performing, and the music's anywhere between like really chaotic alternative baroque pop to like really deep fried bass music. It's very enjoyable. Very out there and politically charged. But I also recently saw Above and Beyond perform. It blew my mind. Absolutely blew my mind. They have the best visuals that I'd ever seen in a concert. And I've
Hmm.
seen I mean, I guess followed closely by Muse. Muse also kills it.
Love Muse.
Oh geez, but they had I can't even describe it. I would just say like look up the Coachella set that Above and Beyond did, because that was very similar to what I saw when I saw them, and mind blowing. Um, and honestly, the last DJ artist I've been listening to is this guy. He records all of his sets, and I listen to all of them at least once, and I study and work and drive my car listening to his sets. I'm a big fan.
Thanks.
Awesome, man.
You're welcome,
Aw.
homie.
Now the pressure's on for Wilda too.
Oh yeah.
All right. What else is going to die on me now? Is it going to be my arms? So I will say the top artist that has inspired me over the years has been Sleep Token. Metal band, right? Or metal pop rap, like just a blend of genres that even though that's not like the genre that I'm doing right now, they've just inspired me to do my own thing. For the longest time I was just covering songs, which is still really fun, by the way. I mean, I still like doing it, but it just kind of made me like, like what can I create, that resonates with me. So that oh my gosh. I hate models. Okay. I was like, I just lost it. I hate models, like my favorite techno artist. He has the most insane techno sets that I've seen on YouTube, and I really want to go see him live. Hopefully one day soon. That inspired actually one of my tracks. Was inspired by him. The Promises one, the really hard techno one. That's
that
one
one.
that's like, still my favorite track. I love all of them, but and then another newer artist that's also like heavy techno EDM style is Zero Sum, newer techno artist coming up and coming. So I'm kind of inspired by his works lately. And then again, Mr. Cruz, like get me on the experimental bass vibes.
It was just a
Even a little
matter
bit
of
of mid
time.
tempo. It was. I mean,
I mean, I had
it's
to
not.
shove it down your throat, but no, it's okay.
Yeah,
It was worth it.
he actually beats me.
Inspiration, yeah.
He actually roundhouse kicks me in the face, and I just can't.
And
It
you
just took
and
a
you
few
smile.
times.
Yeah, you smile and you kick your teeth out, and you're just like, "Can I have more teeth, please?"
Yeah, he needs some milk. All right, but
It's,
yeah, fire year for music, honestly.
Speaking about VRChat DJs, I'm going to give you each an opportunity to list 2 of your favorite VRChat DJs in here.
okay. I got to say the first one goes to Chill Phil. Love everything he does with his sets. He's super smooth with transitions, plays a lot of different styles, but the bass music, of course. And yeah, just being able to meet him and play alongside him. Honestly, I respect the hell out of Chill Phil. And he's starting to release music as well, and it sounds excellent. So I'm looking forward to more from him. As far as the second one, I would have to say Wilda, of course. Honestly, I've been listening. I know, we're going to be gushing about each other, but listen, I started, watching VR DJs play early on. And before I even picked it up myself, I saw Wilda play a set. And this was at Club Penguin. We were talking earlier. And I really feel like you were the first person I saw and like really pushed me to like try it out. This was before I even tried. So like you inspired me to give it a shot. I love the setup that you had. You were playing guitar too, and it was just singing and all that. It was just cool to see you express yourself so much. And I was like, oh, this is a place where I could do that too. So thank you for that. I appreciate you.
Of course, bro.
And then they were roommates.
I mean,
Maybe a little bit more. No,
let's give it a little bit more time. Just a little more time.
So I would actually have to say, one of our resident DJs, VoxX, came out of nowhere. He just like came into one of our events and was like, "Hey, I've been DJing for a decade. How do I do it in here?" And then I'm like, "Okay, we him and another friend of ours who are DJs explained how to do it for him, and then I didn't hear from him for a little bit. He messaged me on Discord. I became good friends with him. He showed me his YouTube, and he has the most amazingly crafted psychedelic experience performances on his YouTube, where he crafts all the visuals and crafts all the music, and very, very multi-genre, very out there, very introspective. Probably I would actually have to say Windward, a totally different vein, is another DJ I'm a huge fan of in here. Honestly, I'm a huge fan of dozens of them in here. There's so many, such good talent. But every one of Windward's performances has been beautiful, like progressive house and trance related genres. It's just like angelic, like feel good music, and he puts on a hell of a performance.
I'm gonna really quickly say Cruz, top of my list for everything that you're doing lately, and then I have two others that that I've been enjoying lately. Like
We're just being honest.
We are, like, for real. Two others, Medi from Refuge caught a few of his sets recently. Very like, he has this avant-garde abstract sort of industrial vibe set. I was really enjoying it a lot. And then Icy Sami, my homie. Like Sami.
Big shout out to Sammy.
Yeah. Sami makes like a lot of genres, produces like majority of tracks that they play, and like we're talking like D&B, UK garage, even some dubstep, and that was really inspiring to me for a while. I was also like make my own tracks as well. So yeah.
So yeah, I love to hear all of this too, because we constantly have to tell our audience and everybody that's involved to take some time during the weekend and go see people that you've never seen before, and having people be able to explore some of these new talents and some of these talents that have been here for a while that people enjoy. Some of those names I haven't even seen myself, but whenever I see them on the timeline, I'm like, you bet I'm going to try to go and check them out and see what all the hype's all about, and hopefully get them a little bit more promotion. But that's definitely a very good idea for a lot of people that are even coming into the scene looking for something fun to do. Before we get on out of here, where can we find QCC on the internet?
Best places to find us. We're not super active on social media because we have a pretty small team. Limited amount of time. We all work full time, so best places to connect with us is to just hop into one of our events in VRChat, or come to our Discord, or you can reach out on Blue Sky. Our Discord does not have the vanity URL because the spam bots, and so the best place to go is our VRChat group and get a link from there.
Perfect. And obviously everybody's all welcome, and obviously looking for more people that enjoy Quest and wanting to hang out with more people that like Quest, right?
And always looking for new talent, all sorts of genres of EDM is totally welcome.
Perfect way to get started when you're getting into DJing into virtual reality. Well, WYLDA, GiggleLord, and Cruzbot of QCC, thank you so much for coming on the VRCDJ Live.
Of course.
Thank you.
So much for having
Super
us.
excited
oh my
for this.
gosh.
I'm excited to see what we
This was
got
fun.
for the rest of the year, too. And thank everybody for coming out tonight as well to see VRC DJ Live. Of course, we've got a lot of things going on for this month. Even more so that we're starting to cultivate what we want to do in November. And if you're into the VRChat going into IRL scene, you definitely don't want to miss out what we got going on in November. We post all of our lineups of our guests up on social media, up on X and Blue Sky at VRCDJ Live. Of course, if you missed out on this live program on Thursday, we'll have the highlight and your replay for you up on YouTube at VRCDJ Live as well. So be sure to check that out around the weekend time. Just some housekeeping moving forward for the rest of the next couple of weeks. Next Thursday, we have off because TwitchCon time. It's going to be happening in San Diego.
Hey.
And not only are we all getting together in the VRChat community to get together, but VRC DJ Live is also a party supporter for Dead Man's Party this year. So we have a small little bit of a lineup. We have Dulce Arma and Owo and our good friend DJ Junie C, who is not in VRChat yet. We would love to get him in there. And then obviously I'll be performing as well. That is happening that Saturday of TwitchCon. So we do invite you to go check everything out at dmpparty.com. If you want to come and hang out with the VRChat kids and also get to see some VRChat DJs performing, which is a very fun thing. Plus, we've got some really neat giveaways too. You definitely want to check that out. But more importantly, when we do return to VRC DJ Live the following Thursday, as we have mentioned here on the program many times before, we're going to be joined by Two Tone Disco and Shelter to come on to not only
Let's
talk
go.
about their
Wow.
massive group that they've got
Awesome.
going on in here, but give us a lot more of an insight of what to expect for ShelterCon happening at the beginning of November. Obviously, you do not want to miss out on that piece of programming coming up. And then following up after Two Tone Disco, we will be having Medlish on to just talk all sorts of cool stuff, because that man, he's ready to talk about all of the things he's got kind of cooking. Of course, you can find us everywhere on the internet via our link tree at VRCDJ Live, of course. And if you would like to also be a guest on our program, on the link tree as well, you'll find all of our forms. So if you have a community, you're part of the community, or a DJ, we would love to have you on the program. Lots of fun things to talk about on this program for sure. But of course, we've got to thank WYLDA and GiggleLord and Cruzbot of QCC. And for our staff behind the glass, I'm Rob Roman for VRC DJ Live. Thank you guys for coming by, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.